Welcome everybody. How y'all doing? I'm late. How's it going? Can y'all hear me? Hello? My computer's being really slow. I restarted it before the live. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, now it's moving. Okay. Hey, how's it going? Good. Well, okay. I'm just going to jump right to it, or try to. Y'all know that I'm not a presenter. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just simply trying to get justice through understanding. That's the best way to sum it up, KJ. Thank you for that. Your presentation that you gave Thursday was really enlightening for me. And I mean, it helps to really just bring it all in. And that's so important. For me, it is. It's important for me. I can't speak to everybody else, but for me, it definitely puts everything into a better perspective. And that's the point, right? So that we can know where there are holes, where there are flaws, where things need to be, re-examined, put some change policy procedures, just red flags, just so that we can spot these signs so that this doesn't happen to your family, anybody ever. It's terrible. So I'm going to try and do this. So let's see. My computer usually has a mind of its own. So, and my internet, everything has a mind of its own. But all right. So thank you for being here. I'm just going to roll with it. I think. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Okay. Now let me get to that tab. And it's just real loosely put together. It's hard for me to do because I have ADD, ADHD, actually. And it's so hard for me to, oh, this always tries to open. It's so hard for me to look at the information. Then I'm like, oh, wait, I need to go grab that source or whatever. And so then I go run back somewhere and then I've run across more information, and it just is an endless rabbit hole. As you all know, that this is such a rabbit hole. And I mean, I just always find something new, something interesting, or something that I didn't catch before, because it didn't make sense to me at all. I did not know the culture. I did not know any of these things. I didn't know they existed. And so it's just been a real awakening, if you will, experience for me. Not an easy one, for sure, to deal with trauma, and the pain, that comes with it, and in the public eye. I mean, everything is a blessing and a curse. There's a good and a bad, in my opinion. I've seen the internet play as an essential, imperative, just a really good tool that you can utilize if you ever have someone who is missing. It really just goes all into play, just everything just really helps. The information, the extended help, it's like an extension of yourself, and you're able to utilize different aspects of it. And it's really neat. But then on the other hand, it's also very exploitative, and it's just very difficult. People can be really, really mean. And I mean, that's something we all have to deal with in life, period. But, it just makes it extra tough, to have to go through all these things in the public eye on such a huge, platform. We have the best people here. You guys are freaking amazing. I tell you that. I can't tell you enough. And I wish I had more adequate words. But there are no words. It's just this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. That's all, But anyways, let me make sure that y'all, let me see. I can't see y'all, so it makes it a little. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, so we're in my Canva app again. Oh, I should have never walked away. Okay. All right, so click on this. Come on, computer. I hope everybody's doing well while we wait. While we sit here and wait. I think it's opening in another window. That's what I get so confused by that. I'm like, where'd it go? That's why I was late. I was sitting here trying to, make sure that I had everything ready, but, okay. Oh my gosh. I wish I could make that stop happening there. This thing. Go away. Okay, so I don't really have anything, prepared as far as like a speech or anything. That's not my forte. Let me wait for this to close because it's driving me crazy. Today, Junior. Okay, so, this is Mike STROUD right here. This is Denver Snuffer right here. And this is Jason MOW. J-MOW, as I like to call him, or Meow. Anyways, and this is Tim Ballard. He is a founder of Operation Underground Railroad, OUR, which it is a foundation that allegedly, and I'm saying that because, anyways, it's my belief, allegedly, Operation Underground Railroad is for sex trafficking victims. Anyways, they're under like 2 federal investigations right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know what just happened, but like I said, my computer, what is it doing? I wish it would hurry up and do it so I could hurry up and close it. I swear, this is when I feel like Jesus takes the wheel and he's like, no, girl, no. Anyways, Operation Underground Railroad. It's allegedly under two federal investigations because, and this is just loose, this is just, don't quote me. I watched a couple news stories, or read a couple news stories, watched a couple things when Adam Herberts, or I think that's how you say it, Fox 13 News did a story, and it was wild. The kids were missing. And so, I always get notifications from East Idaho News. I get them from Fox 13. I get them from Arizona, Fox 10 Phoenix. And which is why I keep my notifications off. I turn them off because, I'm always getting notifications. And it is very disruptive for me because of my ADHD. And anyways, so the federal investigation it's basic. I don't really know how to say it. And it's really not important, but it's the whole birds of a feather flock together thing. all their associates, anybody that associated with those preparing of people flyers, is where I stick my big old nose. I'm all up in there. All in there like swimwear. There we go. There's some Crusher quote. Because it's, I've just always been told, I've been taught that, that birds of a feather flock together. Like-minded people really do, share their opinions and their beliefs. And it baffled me in the very beginning because the internet got scrubbed. I mean, that's why I had I still am like that. I'm trying to break myself of that. The internet got scrubbed. I swear. It's like you'd find something and then you'd go back to, look at it again or share it. And the whole damn thing, the scrub and bubbles were hard at work. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty crazy. That's different. That's weird. That's odd. Why? What's their end game? Why do they, if they're proclaiming to, their love for Jesus Christ, who is not just a Mormon Jesus. Okay. It's not, it's my Jesus. It's your Jesus. It's however, if you don't believe in Jesus, then, whatever. I respect everybody's beliefs. My thing is, if you're claiming to, like Lori in chat, if you have this profound love for Jesus Christ and the gospel, then why not shout it from the damn mountaintops? Why hide stuff? My Jesus is not about, he's not a manipulator. He's not hiding anything. Everybody has access. It floored me, and it alarms me. It alarms me more than anything, because I'm like, okay, as all these things are processing through my mind, I'm like, well, okay, these people are hiding behind Jesus Christ. That is freaking terrifying to me, because anybody that's in my belief system, anybody that's bold enough to hide behind Jesus Christ, that's pretty volatile and scary all in itself. Like that has floored me through this. It has blown my damn mind. And it rocks my world. It really does. So, again, if you're doing things that are of truth and things like that, then there's no reason to hide. So why were they folding? Why were these websites shutting down? Why were they all in denial? We don't teach that. We're not a cult. We don't know Chad. We don't, just so many different stories. And you're just trying to figure it out. Who to believe, who's telling the truth, who's lying, why are they lying? What is their end game? What are they hiding and why? And so I just find it alarming and also fascinating because there's something more. I've always said that. When Alex died, I asked, my mom if they were okay, and she was like, yeah, Alex is dead. And I was like, what about the rest of them? And by them, I mean, I was just the cult, this cult I was being, I heard of. And anyways, it just, at the time, of course, nothing made sense. Still doesn't really make sense, but here we are. So, and this is Michelle McDermott right here. Shelly or Michelle McDermott. She is a, prepper, a super duper prepper, whatever you want, prepper pride. And then there's old Julie Ho. Anyways, but see, this is because I've read a couple of articles on wheatandtears.org on their site, and they'll have titles like, what do you get when you combine Denver Snuffer, Mike Stroud, and Robert Norman? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, Mike Stroud. No, it was what do you get when you combine Denver Snuffer? and Robert Norman. And then they put Mike Stroud, you know, and he had just gotten excommunicated, yada, yada, yada. And then they have one also, I think on Book of Mormon, Book of Mormon Evidence blog, Ryan Nelson. I just know I'd get emails and stuff, and I still do. Jason Mao is still active on the Book of Mormon evidence scene. Very active. Nothing has hurt his career, like he claimed in his police interview. You know, bullshit is what I say. I don't buy it. I don't believe these people. None of them have been forthcoming. None of them have just been like, oh, well, here, you know, let's try and understand this together, because I don't know what Chad and Lori are believing. No, it's none of that. There's a whole lot of distancing, and there's a whole lot of no accountability. That there you go. No accountability. And so, yeah, what do you get when you combine Denver Snuffer, Mike Stroud, Robert Norman, Julie Rowe, Chad Daybell, Visions of Glory, Prepper Movement, Remnant, and y'all had a list. I had to stop. Remnant Movement, AVRAHAM, GILEADI, Michelle McDermott, or Shelley, Energy Healing, etc. This is what I see. This is what you get. Okay? This is in my reality. This is what you get. You get victims. Okay? You get a lot of pain and hurt. And I just don't see how the combination of these things, to me, is scary, scarier than the end of the world prophecy. You know, it's a reality in our family. So you get victims. That's my answer. You get victims because there's a whole lot of things factoring in to the makeup of these people. Just like Chad and Lori, I wanted to know what makes them up, what all the things that factor in and make up Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell. Okay, this is interesting. I found this on El Alvarez YouTube channel, and I believe it's Mike Stroud. He's got two that I'm aware of, and I've been watching. I'm always watching, and this struck me. Oh, of course it's not going to be the video, is it? It should be. I don't know why I just had the dude's picture. Oh, crap. Well, hold please, because this is important. Well, let me press play. Let me see what it does. It says 4 minutes. I don't know, y'all. This isn't my forte. I bet it's just going to play the slides. It is. I'll be damned. Well, I suck at this. So hold on. And I'm going to go grab that video real quick. Allegedly. I think I am. Uploads. Videos. Come on. I'm better at my Canva app from my phone. I can do everything via my phone. I swear. But when I get to this, I'm like, wait, it's laid out differently and everything. Okay, you can't see? Oh, like the whole time, Jen? Oh, I can't see chat. I can never see chat when I'm back. So I haven't heard anything I've said. If not, oh my God. I'll never be able to say it again. Well, hell. Let me just stop sharing. How about that? Let me get back to StreamYard. What the heck? How long have I not been able to see? Could y'all hear me? Oh my God. This sucks. So So y'all could hear me the whole time? Okay. All right. Let me try and figure this out. That's the only way I know how to learn. And it sucks for y'all. it's the learning curve. Oh my God. Well, at least y'all got to hear. I was like, oh my God, there's no way I can go back and loosely even say that again or try to. Okay, let me just try something different because I want y'all to see that video for sure. So I'm gonna go Google it real quick. Just hold on 1 second. Hold please. Alvarez. Come on. JL Alvarez D. Okay, hold on. It's just not my strong suit. No, I did not type that. Okay, videos. YouTube. When I saw this the other day, the other day I was putting everything together and I was like, oh my God, this so says Lori. This is exactly what the hell she says. So, okay, I'm not showing you yet, so just know that. Oh, shit. Shoot. Let me back up here. Videos. Very bottom. You can tell Mike Stroud, because I really do think this is Mike Stroud. I just really do. And then there's another YouTube channel also that he has. Hold on, I'm having to wade through. But he basically did like me, because in the beginning I didn't know how YouTube worked. I didn't know, that all the rules. I just didn't know. There was no way to know. For me, it was all brand new, and I was having to learn fast, and I was having to adapt and just overcome. However I had to do it, I didn't care. Now I care, because I'm learning as I go. I'm not as ignorant. Okay, now let me go share my screen. Hold on. Oh, please. Share screen. Happy birthday, Ron. Happy birthday. Yeah, always. Zalema's always casting me. I feel it. That's what I'm saying. The power of thought, their thought, is disturbing. Freaks me out. Okay. Oh, let me hide me first. Okay. Sure. Chrome tab here. It's the 6th and 7th seals. And let's just listen to the clip, okay? I mean, it's a, I don't know, 8-minute 57 video, 8 minutes 57 second video. Just want to make sure y'all can see. Let me know if y'all can hear. I'll check as soon as I push play. All right.
Really down their home.
Okay. This dude's
so
funny.
That's the 5th seal. Now the 6th seal then, when it's opened, is the ordination of the second coming. Now, Christ does not come in the 6th seal or at the end of the 6th seal. We've got a bunch of literature out that have never really done their homework in relation then to the prophetic events. Let me turn, for example, to section 77 again. And let's go back and pick up the picture from the prophet Joseph Smith. He's talking now here about the events to take place as depicted in Revelation chapter 8 and 9. Now, let me just fill you in beforehand. Revelation chapter 6 is an overview of the prophetic events of the last days. Beginning then with the warfare against Zion, centering on the white horse, running it on through, and the 6th seal is the ordination of the second coming. and I emphasize the word ordination. Okay? Chapter 7 is a special spotlight scene, and we'll get to that after the break, that deals now with the calling of the 144,000 great high priests of the Holy Order, whose mission it will be to gather people into the church of the firstborn, the sanctified church.
Wow.
The church prepared for the second coming of Christ. It's this church that's going to be caught up to meet Christ, and the 144,000 have that ministry. And then they do their work. They do their work in a period of 21 months, 21 years plus. After the opening of the seventh seal, there is silence in heaven.
Okay.
Not on earth, in heaven.
Now on that, hold on,
For
let
the space
me stop it.
of 1/2 hour,
Wow.
or about, it says 1/2 hour. 1/2 hour would put it in the Lord's time, 21 years.
Okay, now that to me, I've also been reading a lot on Cleon Skousen, which is somebody that Chad and Lori and this whole ilk just, you know, I mean, maybe a lot of other people too, but, you know, I don't focus on a lot of other people. I focus on this group. And so that Cleon Skousen is just a huge influence on this group. And that's what I'm about. I'm about finding the influences of this group, because that's what makes up and can create more Chad and Lori's, in my opinion. If they're not of, you know, of a well mind, a strong mind, and or they're just diabolically freaking evil from jump, you know. But a lot of people say that they were deceived, you know, and maybe so. It's irrelevant at this point. There's no way to prove if they were deceived or not. You know, that's not something we can prove in court. But to me, it just is really important with making up Chad, what goes into Chad and Lori. And it's this deadly concoction, you know, or it can be. It can hurt a lot of people. It does. It has. It is. So he talked about the silence in heaven, and, you know, I'm philosophical too. Okay. I can't help but just sit here and, you know, I've had to take an interest in this. And so, I mean, I read everything that I can, and it's not to, I don't care when the world ends, you know, I mean, you can only prepare so much, you know, that's something I've learned through all this, but I try to find significance. I try to find where I hear the same language, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, that came from here. This came from there. Because I've always said that it's like a hodgepodge. It's a gumbo, if you will. It's a soup. It's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so, the half hour in silence thing. I had read somewhere and I wrote it down, and I was going to share it July 22nd, whenever Lori had predicted, or whatever, Lori or Chad or both had said that the world was going to come to an end, July 22nd, 2020. And that's what they were going to do. That's what they were going to hide behind. Not only Jesus, but the calamities, you know, the big earthquake and the Wasatch the Wasatch Front, which Julie said her angels coined the phrase Wasatch wake up. Anyway, she got some smart little angels, because now she's using zombies as her header, you know. That's her anyways, I find that very disturbing. Like, she don't get to use that word in my opinion, because that these are her people. I don't care how much they try and say they didn't believe, and or there was a video that Julie and Eric did, and I went in and I like, that's why I'd released that little one I had done of Julie the other day, because I go in, and with all the word salad she does, it's a mental gymnastics course. Okay. Y'all know that. And it'll wear anybody out. But they do say so much. They are telling us stuff unknowingly or knowingly. I don't really know their motive or not, but they do let these things out. That is the beauty of this. They love to talk. Cheese and rice, do they love to talk? It's just never what we're asking for. You know, they're like, oh, Chad's beliefs are false. And so you listen to the video and you're like, okay, well, how are they false? You know, you're not exactly, Julie is not saying, I don't believe that. That is not anything I've ever heard of. No, she's like, oh, to be a translated being, you know, 1,000 vibration is incorrect. And I'm like, okay, where is this false? So he just had, you know, some facts wrong or whatever, statistics. And so it's just like, what the hell? And why the hell? And who the hell? Who's following? And she has followers. She has people who pay her good money, their good money, just to be snowballed. And that, my friend, I believe is a cult for sure, you know, because it's manipulation. It is playing on people's faith. It is, it's bull crap. And she needs to be stopped. I don't know how this will go about. I don't really have like that laid out, but you know, this is part of the process. But anyways, the half hour in silence thing came from also Cleon Skousen, who said that the world would end in June of 2020. And so that's where I think that Lori and Chad or Chad, whatever, allegedly, you know, maybe perhaps got that idea about the end of the world and hiding, you know, behind all the earthquake damage and stuff. And nobody would find Chad and Lori because they would be under the guise and protection of, you know, distraction, smoke and mirrors. And that is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my entire life. What? That just doesn't even sound plausible or like a good idea. You know, like, did they huddle up and be like, all right, 1, 2, 3, hut? And like, that's the plan, you know, because they're all about plan. And they're all about working, you know, and conspiring. Anyways, I just feel like that's where it came from. The half hour of silence thing, you know. So let me shut up.
Lord's time, 21 years. About indicates it can be a little more than that, you see. And it's during that period of time when the heavens look on with awe and silence that the 144,000 go forth in the earth. Their plagues, their judgments, and their ministry is to bring people into the church of the firstborn.
Boom.
And then immediately after that, the great cleansing plagues begin to take place. And there's 7 of them, and they're spoken of in the 8th and the 9th chapter of the book of Revelation. And let's read now what the prophet Joseph has to say about that. He says, when are the things to be accomplished which are written in the 9th chapter of Revelation? Now let's, the 8th chapter, verse 12, mentioned in the 8th. Well, his answer then basically is this. He says, they are to be accomplished after the opening of the 7th seal, before the coming of Christ. Now, is Christ going to come at the opening of the 7th? The parable of the wheat and the tares. The 144,000 gather the wheat. They gather them into the church of the firstborn. That's the bin.
Okay.
And they organize them according to the holy order.
Like, with that being said, you know, what is, well, I've always wondered, you know, or I've come to wonder, why would they, I mean, I know why, but how did they justify this in their minds? Like, okay, well, they're zombies, you know, I mean, to me, and I like to poke holes in their beliefs, okay, and theirs specifically, because they're just absurd. They're insane. And for them to rid the world of zombies, aka Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, Joe, I feel strongly, and I mean possibly Alex, you know, I have no idea, and time will tell, maybe. But do you see what do you see where they can pull these ideas and then run with them, you know, because they're a-holes, you know, and or mentally disturbed. I have no idea. I never want to be in their minds, but I try to see things. That's been my thing, just to see things from their perspective, nobody else's, theirs. Because I think it's important. It is for me, but I don't know. This just screams it to me. And this is on Mike Stroud, whom I believe is Mike Stroud, his YouTube channel. This is how he preaches. He preaches deliverance doctrine, foreordainment. And this dude is like, foreordained, you know, and it didn't come from just one source. It didn't come from just Chad. He's not that smart. I'm sorry. And I don't try to be judgmental or anything like that. That's just my opinion. It's too elaborate. And for people who are so scripturally, just Lori in her body cam interview or body cam video where we hear the audio, and she's telling Melanie Gibb, you know, she's like, I live by the scriptures. So that's what I do. I just sit there and because the devil, he's all in the details. That's something Lori has said, not the devil part, but she's like, she's talking about Jesus Christ when she says that Jesus is all in the details. He walks these very halls, you know, and just these things stick in my mind. And when I recognize them, that's just how I deal with this. But anyways.
The Lord revealed to Joseph Smith in section 86 of the Doctrine and Covenants. And then when they're gathered in, and the Lord comes to his temple, and the great Adamon-Diamond Council is held in connection with that great gathering and its accomplishment, then the great plagues are poured out, and the wicked are cleansed from the earth. And this is spoken of then in Revelation chapter 8 and Revelation chapter 9. You see that? In that sense, then, the prophet says these things are to be accomplished after the opening of the seventh seal, before the coming of Christ. So Christ doesn't come at the opening of the seventh seal. There's a half-hour silence, and then there's plagues, and that's under the sixth plague that the wicked are gathered to Jerusalem for the great abomination of desolation. And the last stage of that period of things is 3.5 years. There's a longer period that leads into it, but the last stage of it will be a 3.5-year period of time. And then you'll have, after it then, the opening of the great seventh plague, as Christ stands then on the Mount of Olives, and the wicked are cleansed. But Christ doesn't come then until sometime way after the opening of the seventh seal. You see that? Now, when people put Adamon-Diamond before the year 2000, they don't know the prophetic picture. When they put Christ coming to his temple before the year 2000,
and that's his
opinion. Don't know what they're doing. Now, we've got some literature out, and somehow someone got one to me somewhere that's all geared up with those great events in the 3.5 years now, somewhere in the 90s, and it's just a bunch of garbage. Leave it alone. Well, read it. If you can't separate the wheat and the chaff, go ahead and eat the chaff. Okay.
And so this is just it blows my mind, because he's not saying this as opinion. He's saying this as fact. Like, he just knows better. Like, I don't know. I don't know this man. I haven't researched him or anything. I've heard his name, Hiram Andrus, but you know, I don't know enough to speak to him or anything like that. But I mean, imagine an entire ward or whatever, made up of people of like mind, you know, or their friends. And I mean, that's just, I don't know how else to put this. Pretend it's like a gang aspect, you know, the Bloods and the Crips or whatever. Take the religious context out of it, but and look at it from that system or whatever. I don't know. It's to me troubling, because people who are not strong-minded can take this and run with it, as we see, you know, as we witness firsthand, you know, an unraveling of people's beliefs and ideas, and their opinions and just their belief system. That's exactly what they ascribe to. So, I don't know.
Now, in that sense then, let's just conclude here, and then we'll take a little break. The book of Revelation, instead of one great chronological event, one after another, is actually a series of spotlights on the last days.
In his opinion.
John sees, for example, the four beasts and the elders. He sees the book, and that gives you orientation. He's seen the new heaven and the new earth. And then in Revelation chapter 6, he sees an overview. He sees the four beasts. He sees the wailings of the martyrs. And then he sees the second coming ordained under the sixth seal, but fulfilled in the seventh. It's like the creation. Man was ordained to be placed on earth on the sixth day. He was placed on earth in actual fact on the seventh day. Go read, for example, the book of Abraham and the book of Moses. The book of Abraham in particular makes it very, very clear that they came down to place man on earth. And then the sixth day terminates, and the seventh day ordered. But man is ordained to be put on earth in the sixth day, and is fulfilled in the seventh. Similarly, then you have the same kind of a situation. The second coming is ordained under the sixth seal, but it's fulfilled under the seventh.
Allegedly.
And then after that, then John sees this special spotlight of the 144,000. And then he sees chapter 8 and 9, which is the plagues. And then he sees chapter 10, which is a spotlight on himself, John the Revelator, with the little book that he's given, which is his ministry to gather the tribes of Israel. And then he sees another spotlight. And this is on the Jerusalem scene, the two prophets that are raised up in the period when the nations of the earth gather against Jerusalem in the great abomination of desolation. And then he sees chapter 12, and this is one of the most meaningful chapters. He sees the war in heaven, and it's a type and shadow of the warfare against Zion on earth. And we want to get to that, particularly from the inspired revision of the book of Revelation.
Do we?
And then he sees chapter 13, which is Babylon and the Assyrian, or the little horn, or the northern army. Then he sees chapter 14.
How do you know?
And chapter 14 then gives us the count of the angel flying through the midst of heaven to restore the gospel. And it seems like it's all out of kilter. I mean, after all, you talked about the two prophets in chapter 11, and you talked about the two great powers in chapter 13, and then chapter 14 opens up, and you say that has to do with the restoration of the gospel. Third back here before the book of Revelation even gets into gear to be fulfilled. You see that? Now why? Well, you hold on to that one, and there's a real reason why, and it's a very beautiful one, and we'll get to it. But right now, let's take a breather. Lord bless us to take advantage of this if you can.
So that's one of the things. This is another one right here, and this thing right here, Rod Meldrum. Y'all, that's what I'm saying. None of these people have stopped. They're hard at it. They are hard at it. They just actually, scrub the internet, erase things that aren't, I guess, very pretty. They don't make them exactly. They have blood on their hands, in my opinion. I mean, not as much as the inner circle, but still, these people have answers, in my opinion. From my view, from where I sit, they can fill in so much of this for me. I mean, and not going to persecute them, I mean, Jesus, I just don't. It's not about being a saint or a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's just, in my opinion, it's just the basic human moral standard. It's just being a basic freaking human. I did find, let's see, let me close that out. Wow. Yeah, they've rebranded, and they are Latter-day Media, which they were Latter-day Media also then. I just, I don't know. It's so complex. There are so many things to keep up with, so many websites. And that's what kind of pushed me away from the nonprofit organization idea. I was like, ooh, they kind of, a lot of these people, and not just these people, a lot of people just seem to do things and it's not really helping what they set out or what they try to make it appear to be. Like Julie Rowe, JulieRowePrepare.com. That's gone. Vamonos is gone. The Greater Relief Fund or whatever the hell she had. Really? When she said that she was doing safe houses and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, and she's in the same pocket as, allegedly, just got to throw that out there, allegedly with Tim Ballard, Operation Underground Railroad, who he's there trying to help. Man, all these things just fly away from me. Let me think. Like missing and exploited children. Oh, sex trafficking. Child and human sex trafficking. And so Julie Rowe, she can't be outdone, right? Joseph, also, I want to say this real quick. Hey, Detective's daughter, I got your letter. I got to read it. Not on screen, but, thank you. And for your donation. Thank you so much. So Joseph Murray, there's a picture of him and Emma and their baby, Tammy and Chad's grandson, and where it looked like Emma had ran in the race. And so did Melanie PAWLOWSKI. I actually heard a long time ago, and it's just hearsay, but these are screenshots of things that I have. And, when you go back and you revisit them, you're like, oh, okay, but it's a circle jerk. Okay. There's no pretty, you can't polish a turd. And I hate to use that analogy, but it's just that you're going to try to pick it up on no matter which end, you're going to get poop on your hands. Okay. And it just is what it is. And so you cannot polish a turd. Just who knows who, what's their end game? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Why do they feel the need to gather? That is a thing. It's code word. And you hear it so many times. Jason Mel got Serena Sharp hooked up with, Melanie GIBB. She was like one of their, Melanie GIBB is further into this than we can even imagine. She was in it before Lori. I feel like she met Chad from what I get. If I could just tell y'all what I really see it for, I could do it in a minute. It won't make sense. But it just, and I just have not been able to put it into anything that somebody else can understand, because I'm just like, well, this, and I use all my slang words. This effer saw this heifer, and then they got together, and then it's just, anyway, so it's just not very educated sounding. Let me get to the screen on my phone so at least I can read, because I do want to go over Mike Stroud. Just all these people they know one another. And there's a few people who have, I've seen them in chats, other creators, chats and stuff like that. And once I see it more than, I have a lady, y'all, that contacted me. And so this is what I'm saying. This is where you're just like, you have to be very careful, because what do they want? What is the point? So this lady reached out to me. This is April of maybe 2021. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. and that's not what I'm about to share, but she called me. No, she contacted me via Facebook Messenger, and she said that I need to talk to you. I saw JJ, and no, she didn't say Tylee. I saw JJ, and I was like, what? I wanted to talk to her. However, I didn't know who she was from Adam. I don't know her. But anyways, so she called, and I did record it because I'm a one-party state. And it's not to exploit or any, it's not for that. It was never for that reason. At that time, there's no way I could have even recollected what she said, because I could not process everything. No way. I was living in my feelings, like in the moment, in real time. I didn't have that liberty to just be able to step away from it and, close that off and go on about my business. It was my business. And so, yeah, it's just Summer and Janice there. Yeah. So this lady calls, I give her my phone number, and she calls me, and she's just out her box. I was like, oh Lord, and me and Jason sat there, and and so she's telling me, like, she actually saw JJ. She is explaining everything about his clothing, the pattern on his shorts. I'm thinking this woman saw him. And she's like, I've tried to tell detectives, and somebody came in my house and then stole, my recording and this. And I was just like, holy crap, this sounds just way out there, okay. And anyways, it was just, basically, she described to me, and she never came right out and said it still, but she was like, it was basically her vision, her psychic view, if you will. And so she saw all this, said all this, names, just talking about going here, there, from Yellowstone, and I'm just like, oh my, I don't know what this lady, who or what. Well, anyways, I've seen this lady, and she commented. I found her all up in Michelle McDermott's comments. Okay. I found her on James and Mike, James, Jesus. That didn't come out right either. Mike and Nancy James. They have Latter Day Media or whatever is on Vimeo.com. That's where they do a lot of their showcasing. They also have Daughters of Zion, DOZ. I think that's the name of it. Or Sister Liberty. I don't know. I don't have it all in front of me. But anyways, that brought whatever. I forget what somebody said. Oh, about Janice and them. But this lady, just out of nowhere, her name is Linda. And I saw her in the comments and under these people. But she's calling me, telling me about her vision. And so I'm like, what? Why did she contact me? What was her point? Was it to throw me off? Was it just to share her vision with me of JJ to help me or to help her? What was her end game? She even said at the very end of the call, she was like, and I just want to sit there with your mom and your dad in the court. And I'm thinking, all right, and because victims and just all this stuff, she's just wacky. It was way out there. I'm not gonna, I feel for her. However, you're going through your own crap and this whole thing, and you're just trying to figure out, I was trying to figure out who can I trust? Who's in this for the victims and who's in this for themselves? And then it just made me really think about the culture that she came from and how her daughter didn't believe her and her son didn't believe her. And they just thought she was crazy. But she's just a woman. And in the culture, the women aren't the visionaries. It's the men. That's my understanding, That's just the dynamic, the roles. And so it's like a suppression or repression. I don't really never know which word to use. But love you too, Robbie. My gosh. I don't have to do that till I get on here. But anyways, it's just these things that just factor in that, nobody knows what goes on. Because you're just living in the moment. You're just trying to make sense of it. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't know how to share it. I don't know who's who in the zoo. It's crazy. But anyways, this is a post that Michelle McDermott had posted. It doesn't have the date on Facebook. Let me try and mute this so I can really clear my throat. Okay. So she had posted, Michelle McDermott had posted on Facebook, and so it said 23 minutes ago. So I don't know what the date was, not right offhand. And so just, that's how I've learned a lot of things, is just by reading comments of wherever, of groups, of forums, all kinds of things. And it's where somebody doesn't feel they need to tell me their take on it. I can make it for myself. So anyway, she says, forgive the intrusion. Although I started this page, I'm sorry. I left when, okay. I don't ever understand how these people write. Forgive the intrusion. Although I started this page, I left when I left Facebook and kept an opening over at ALF 2 for announcements. But I was asked to come on here and share some of the insights I have about the Julie Rowe thread. Does everyone remember when the bottom fell out about Brandon Hunter? And how many people lost money with him? And yet there were many people who didn't lose money, and it caused a big division because people just don't like drama or hearing others complain about their losses. Question mark. So that's a question. It was hard to hear. However, when our intimate prepper community starts to have members losing money, we need to speak up in a loving way and warn others. If others choose to continue to do business or follow that person, fine. But remember, there are people who have been injured, and when multiple people are reaching out, we owe it to them to sound the alarm bells. I concur. 100%. Okay, let's try and get that to focus. Okay. This is my slide that I can't get to show on here. Of course, I didn't really try hard. And so she's like, my biggest regret with Brandon Hunter was that I sat on information for months that could have saved a lot of people thousands of dollars if they had been warned, or if she would have warned. Come on. Reminds me of my daughter crossing her eyes in that picture. This one. My camera wouldn't focus, but it just reminds me of that. She was trying to focus. She was 2 weeks old. Oh, my beautiful baby. One of them. Okay, so basically, had she said something, it could have saved people some money and heartache. She said, I bought a case of her books. She's talking about Julie Rowe. When the first one came out, I have been to her events in person. We defended her right to come forward on the original ALF, which is a platform, probably a page or something. And we even quoted her, and they do. Let me shut up. And we even quoted her as a resource until we started getting complaints about things behind the scenes. And we started to question whether things were being done in a manner acceptable to the Lord, and if others were being hurt in like manner. The problem with JR, Julie Rowe, is not her message or what's in her books. This is going to blow y'all's mind. And it just sounds so familiar. The problem with JR is not her message, but or what's in her books. It is what's going on behind the scenes. Okay. She said that twice. anyways, once again, I don't know why, but I have been the one people are alerting, and it is not just one or two people. JR is approaching many people and having meetings, it's parentheses, saying, the Lord sent me to you to be a part of our charity as a captain, and we need more help with money. This is affinity fraud, she says. One man was told by her he was not a valiant priesthood holder when he denied her. I just received a report last night that she approached a recently widowed married man, obviously widowed, twice her age, and told him, the Lord told me you will marry me someday. Sounds familiar. Okay. So the Lord told me that you will marry me someday. How do you think her husband would feel if he heard that? Now, this would be Jeff Rowe, and Jeff Rowe, and they're divorced now. But I wonder, it makes me wonder if her and Chad, if Chad would have never met Lori, would Jeff be dead today? And Tammy, because that was always the plan. They're all about plans. I'm the no plan. Anyways, so she says, do you think this man wants his name out there when this all bottoms out? He's got a leadership calling. Okay. None of these men do. Yet until someone rings the bell, JR just keeps on doing it. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It just freaks me out. It freaks me out. This is another thing. This is something that's in the works as we speak. Okay. Well, let me try and get the damn slides up because this is silly. All right. Just hold on one second. Y'all are being great. Great. As always. Chrome tab. Let's see. Let me go open it up first. That way I can get to the appropriate tab and not have you guys looking at a blank screen. Because it's still playing out. And so it's fascinating to watch this entire movement. Okay. Whether Jesus Christ comes or not. It's just, that's not what it's about. That's not why they're on my radar. They're on my radar for, y'all know why. And then they interject themselves like Julie has interjected herself. She came up on my radar after, I just learned about YouTube, besides my kids being on it, when my mom and Larry appeared on, or they called into Gray Hughes. Okay. That's the first time they told anybody outside the family, or mom, they might've done a story or something by that time. I don't remember. It was, before December. It was, no, not before December, but it was right as, I'm trying to get it right. I don't know the exact date, but it was right about the time that the story was coming out on eastidahonews.com. Okay, now let me go share my dang screen. Allegedly. Cancel share. Where y'all at? Am I on the right one? Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay. Let me go back and make sure y'all can see and make sure I'm hidden. Okay, y'all can see it. That's what I'm saying, Tina. I'm telling you, it's like there's this, And I mean, I want to know your opinion on this, because not everybody gets to go to temple. You have to have an active temple recommend to get into the temple already. And it just, for Adam Cox, he shared that, the saints are normally, or, temple recommend holders, I guess the brethren, urge you to go, like once a month. That's normal. But she's excessive, right? She's extra. And so she's going every day. And not only every day, but she's meeting Zalema there. And I mean, this is in the FOIA docs. They're texting each other and saying, hey, you going to the temple today? And they're going and using your sacred temple to do some really evil stuff. And I mean, I know that's gotta piss y'all off too. I mean, that's how I see it. And I mean, it sucks that they did that. And then they're praying away, using negative thoughts to not just, and that's where Mike Stroud will come in. And yes, KJ, he was on Mike and Nancy James. He was a speaker on November 18th, 2019 at the Mesa, Arizona, Preparing a People conference. Yes. And that is whenever Lori and Chad allegedly went into an upper room in the temple and Moroni gave Lori away. The Savior was there. These things. Now, the closest that I've come to matching that to anything has been the second anointing. But then not all Latter-day Saints, or even not all members, are even aware that this. And I didn't know this, I've had to learn this. And so when I found that out, I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. I was ready to go screaming from the dang mountaintops, All right, found it. It's a ceremony, allegedly. It's, from what I know, it's this ordinance, I guess, or ceremony, where the husband and the wife go in. And I mean, I've watched a couple other people who are no longer Latter-day Saints. They're not members anymore. And they've experienced the same type of deal. Like, they literally thought they were going to see Jesus Christ in the flesh. But you have to be, and I mean, this is just my recollection of it. I'm going to get hate anyway, but hey, all I can do is just say it. I didn't do it. But I do respect, but you basically have to get, you as a member, you would have to get invited pretty much personally by the first presidency, which would be like right now, it would be Nelson and I never know those other names. I don't know their names. Holland, I think, and Oaks. Not sure. And it's all allegedly. Please don't sue me. And so you basically have to get personally invited as a couple. But there's certain things that have to be like, I don't understand. But so this is going on. If this is going on, to me, it screams elitism, even in your own congregation. Okay. If this is the case, oh my God, like, I don't know. I just feel like I've been let down also. And I'm not even, I've never been a Mormon. But yet I've learned it from the ground up. And I have built, not to seek anybody out or to point fingers, just to understand. And it has been quite the experience. I remember when I found out about the second anointing, I bawled my damn eyeballs out because it was a relief. And then once I realized what it really was, I it hurts because, you know, if your prophet, if your president is even part of doing something that's so secretive, that's not known to the entire congregation, only the selected few, how many? 144,000? I mean, I don't know. These are questions I'm asking. And that's what Jen said. You can't just go into the temple. So that's why this is the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, that I've heard quite a, and I've read about people experiencing this, expecting things, not expecting. There's people who are just like cool with it, you know, that just have this superiority, this elitism, you know, even in your own congregation. They're set apart. They are called up. To me, it causes division. It's just a big letdown, in my opinion, because that's who you want to run to. You're supposed to be able to run to policemen and women, firemen and women, your teachers. You're supposed to be able to go to your clergy and just, you know, trust, ask for help, guidance. No, I'm not saying they have to be professional. I mean, just all that aside. But that's what I've taught my kids, you know, don't be scared of the cops. Go to the cops, you know. I mean, I'm not one of those parents who are like, you know, oh my God, you know, put your seatbelt on or anything like that. I actually had to pull a cop aside. Like, I gritted my teeth and I was like, you are scaring my daughter. You know, you are traumatizing her right now. And I was like, can you please stop? And so we went to the back of the car and I was like, dude, I'm just not one of those parents. And so he came back with a different attitude, you know, hey, KDH. It's just, I don't know. And so when you're even trying to share this with people like you guys, you know, like there are some who are Latter-day Saints and are here and they care. And maybe they're aware, maybe they're not. I don't know, but I care about you. I care about you. I'm not here to poke holes, especially in your faith, especially in your everything that you know, because I don't know. This is the same for me. And that's where I just have been struggling. That's where I struggle. And because I want to say what I've found and what I see and what I'm learning, but I don't want to piss anybody off. It's a very tough, grueling, it tears me apart more than anything else, you know? And no, not all people are bad. I mean, that's an ignorant way to think. If anybody does think like that, it's ignorant to think like that, or not right, you know, because I mean, I was always taught that there's always bad apples, but it doesn't mean that everybody is bad, right? I mean, come on, you know, that's just basic being human. That's how I see things, as a human, not as a saint or a Catholic or a butterball or, you know, fill in the blank. It doesn't mean anything. It's just as adults, as not even no race, nothing, just rip all that away and you just have a basic human, okay? And your responsibilities as a human, that's all. And so, I mean, I don't know. That's just been a very hard and, I mean, tough spot for me, because I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anything I say to come out as I'm attacking them, or, you know, I've been accused of, I'm trying to take down the church. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Because there are a lot of people and like I said, I don't research any other thing. I'm tired of having to say disclaimers. I guess that's it, you know? And that's why I am so measured in my words and what I say and how I say it and when I say it. It just matters. This is a very tough position to be thrown into. I didn't ask to be put here. It's not like I have I had an interest in it and was like, okay, yep, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna go muck up some people's lives because that's fun. No, no, this was, I was thrust into this, and this has been my way of justice through understanding. And I believe in God, and I believe that he puts us in places and in roles and life experiences, and for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, in my opinion. And so I've had many talks with my God, and I'm like, what are we doing here? What do you expect me to do? What do I do? What am I doing here? And why me? Why me? I'm the most non-educated person as far as religion. I mean, it is just not my forte. It's not my thing. Never has been. And so I remember chuckling because I was like, wow, this is a long time ago. And I was like, look at God, he's got us reading scripture, whether we thought we were going to or not. Here we are. Here I am reading scripture. And I mean, just the good Lord has ways to get us to experience things and do things. Maybe it was, his intention to get me into the word, to get me into the scriptures, because before that, I believed in God and everything. I just never had to really dive deep like I did to find meaning and purpose. And so it's just really crazy. And it's what I make it, it's what I make it. I can take it as a negative thing, or I can turn it into a positive and shine some light somewhere, because that's God. That's what God does. He works through us. That's how I believe. And so this is, Rod Meldrum. I actually don't have the slide for that, but I didn't realize that he had, let me go pull it up. We'll get back to him, but it's interesting. And so this is Denver Snuffer, or, somebody had sketched this. This was all from wheatandtears.org. And, a caricature, whatever. Somebody drew this of him. I have no respect for anyone who calls him or herself a snufferite. Like, he's offended by that. Don't call him snufferites. Don't call him a prophet either. I mean, I used to drag him into it, but this is before, when I was ignorant. I didn't know what was what and who was who. And I didn't know that there were degrees or levels or, I don't know, of one's beliefs. I didn't know. Like, everybody kept saying, well, they're excommunicated. And I was like, well, what does that even mean? Like, it doesn't, and I'm not saying this disrespectful. Trust me when I say that. I'm saying this as I don't know your world, and this is all brand new to me. And I'm just trying to figure out how, when you say excommunicated or disfellowshipment or whatever it's called, it was excommunication as I was going through it. So that's what I'm going to, because I don't know all the new terms yet. But I didn't know what that meant. But to a Latter-day Saint, an active Latter-day Saint, excommunicated means, usually that the I'm going to say it wrong probably, but loosely, basically, for apostasy or some people just making money, like the energy healing stuff, the things like that. I don't really know. If I'm not looking at it, then I'm just duh. And so this guy, he wrote the Second Comforter. Okay. The Second Comforter is a book, and Lori loved it. Okay. Lori absolutely loved his book. And so even though Denver Snuffer has nothing to do with Lori and Chad, allegedly, from what I know right now. He's not an evil man. He's just not about the institution. He's basically saying that you can have a relationship with Jesus, from my understanding now, that you can have a relationship with Jesus without the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, without all that. And like, he's getting scripture canonized and all that. But he's not saying, hey, you know, come follow me. I'm starting this new, AKA cult / my own church, you know, another branch of Mormonism. He's still a Mormon. He still believes in the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. And he just fell away from the church, from the institution, from the the incorporation. Okay. And that's another thing. I didn't know all this stuff. Okay. And so this is stuff that was in the Weeds and Tears article. And like the weedsandtears.org, there's saints active and not, you know. Some have never been Mormon. And I just find it to be a very level, fair website or blog, I forget what it is, where I can get information and learn. And not everybody is just forcing their opinions, you know. It's equal. Okay, and so that's what I just read to y'all. Forgive the intrusion, you know, Michelle McDermott. Okay, and so I do have a talk of hers, and I mean, if I need to post them anyways, because we need to me. This is how I've learned. I listen to them. And it's a lot of work. I've spent a lot of hours, a lot of my time listening to these people, not by choice, but because I want to understand. You know, how can I understand if I don't know what they're saying? And if I don't know what they're saying, how do I even know where I can make a difference, or where I'm going in this, for me, for my life, for my role? What's my role in this, you know? And this reminded me of KJ, the crime board thing, you know? And anyway, so that was on there too. This is another thing also, the path of totality, or line of totality, I forget what it's called. But this is Jackson, whatever, Missouri, and it's coming April, I want to say April 6th or April 8th, 2024. Okay, there was a big lunar eclipse, I think, that happened August 17th, I believe, back in 2017, and everybody was prepare, you know. It's just another sign of the time, okay? And that this group of people really do cling to, okay? This is their belief. And so the Jerusalem thing, okay? Okay, Rod Meldrum thinks that the Book of Mormon evidence, dude, allegedly, this is my opinion. This whole video, this whole entire live stream is my opinion there. And, but basically, he believes that the Adam on Diamond thing is where the Book of Mormon evidence, he believes that the second coming will occur. Okay, so Adam on Diamond is basically that. And so the eclipse or whatever passes over 7 Salems, S-A-L-E-M, Salems. So there's a Jeru, and it's like J-E-R, and then USA, L-E-M. It's crazy. Not crazy, but it's fascinating. Okay, so it passes over 7 cities or whatever named Salem. And where did Chad and Tammy live? Salem. That's just one of them. Okay, so there's that. And then they had this picture up. Okay, and this was leaked or something. I'm not able to look at chat, so but this had come out in a leak. I have all the links and everything in the description box below the video, which I had found, you know, the John DeLynne's in it. This was allegedly leaked from the church or one of the, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to say it all wrong. So their article, you know, I saw a long time ago was, what do you get when you combine Denver Snuffer and Robert Norman? Mike Stroud. Okay. And so this was back, well, hell, I'm going to find out. No, I'm not. I want to say 2017. And like this, another podcaster excommunicated, but maybe not for the reason you think. And it says one blogger calls him the Denver Snuffer of active Mormons. See, I didn't know what all these terms, I didn't know what they were saying. I was just like, I don't even know what that means. What is a Denver Snuffer of the active Mormons? You know, I didn't know there was an active or an inactive or all these technical terms. Okay. For me as an outsider. And so sometimes I've used the term snuffer light, and I thought that was cute. It's funny. Makes me laugh. Brother Mike Stroud is a relative newcomer to the Mormon podcasting scene. And so all these things, all these links and stuff, I mean, that's how I've learned. I have sat there and just, I roll through every one of them, you know. Anytime anything is in quotation marks, anytime they're basically like, are you putting down what I'm picking up? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You know, that kind of thing. And so, let's see. The one who is watching blog, I've learned a lot just here in the past couple of days. Really, you know, it's like I'm able to really read things and kind of figure them out. Brother Mike Stroud is a relative newcomer to the Mormon podcasting scene, yet he has gained a significant following, especially among the LDS prepper community. Over at the One Who Is Watching blog, Brother Stroud was recently cited as a doctrinal patriarch of an emerging remnant movement within the LDS Church, separate from the remnant movement associated with Denver Snuffer. Okay. Denver Snuffer is, he doesn't want to be called a prophet, but it is happening. Like I said, his book was highly influential on Lori, the Second Comforter. Basically how calling an election made sure meeting with Jesus Christ in the flesh. Okay. I have that talk or whatever or podcast of Melanie, GIBB, Lori, and Chad. And to me, I call it because it's gross, Jesus soft porn, because that's what it freaking sounds like. It sounds like they are freaking gross. They're just gross because the way they're talking, like Lori and Melanie are like, yeah, Chad. Oh yeah. And he's just like, he's just so dry. I don't freaking get it. I don't get it. This dude had to cast a spell or something because ain't nothing else that explains it for me. It makes me think of Larry Miliete. Like I'm so curious to see how that's going to play out because Larry Miliete used spellcasters. Okay. I just want to know how this works because there's people like Zalema throwing the juju on you and the voodoo and the hoodoo and the woo-woo. And you can't prove it. You can't prove someone's thoughts, you know, but there's thoughts in the text messages in the FOIA docs. And this is about as close as I'll be to ever proving the ill harm, the negative thought process of these energy healers, these women, Christina Atwood, Julie Clement, Serena Sharp, Nicole Earl, Melanie GIBB, Melanie PAWLOWSKI, Lori, Chad, Alex, Sean LittleBear, you know, he was even at Zalema's house because in the text messages, Zalema says something. She asked Chad something about some brown thing being on her couch. And I don't know. I don't have it verbatim in front of me, but I find it highly suspicious. Okay. And I always have. And I don't buy what Shawn LittleBear says at face value. I don't. I won't. That's one of the main reasons I will not go to the that channel, because I just did not feel safe after that point at all. After that point, that was just part of the reason. That interview done, you know, not by Fox 10 or Nate Eaton or anything like that. But anyways, so I mean, because I asked Shawn LittleBear, you know, I'm like, I need to talk to you. And I did feel relieved when he came out. But then there's this sense, there's just something in him I cannot trust. And they all seem to be like this. They all seem to be very showy and arrogant. It's confusing to me. It doesn't make sense. I'm not buying it. Well, anyways, so the one who's watching blog, Brother Stroud was recently cited as a doctrinal patriarch of an emerging remnant movement within the LDS Church, separate from the remnant movement associated with Denver Snuffer. Rather than remnant, Brother Stroud tends to reference the elect of the latter days, those who've been awakened as the 144,000 or gatherers. Okay. I know that sounds familiar to you guys, because that's Jason Mel with his podcast with Melanie Gibb and Lori, saying, you're what we in the know. He says in the know, meaning all of us who are aware that this is happening, this group of like-minded people. He says, you're what we call in the biz a gatherer. Okay, so there's that context. This I got out of Google Books or whatever, and it says Michelle R. McDermott. And y'all, I saw the last name, and whenever the FOIA docs came out for the first Chandler dump or whatever, and there was an officer named, I forget his first name right now, Nathan, I think, McDermott. And I was like, oh hell, you know, oh my God. That's the first place my mind went was, is he related to Michelle McDermott? Because I want to know stuff like that. Who knows who protects who, why? That's what I want to know, because they're in the know and I'm not. So I want to know. Sorry, my dang cigarette won't stay lit. Michelle McDermott was born and raised in Arizona. She graduated from Utah State University with a teaching degree. She has taught both high school and college. She is the author of Finding Peace When the Devil Visits. She is an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She has been an early morning seminary teacher and a gospel doctrine teacher. She is married to Reed, and they have raised 7 children. This is another freaking issue. That's Dr. Bradley Nelson. He is also an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he was a chiropractor until he got a calling and heard a voice and talked to God and got the inspiration to start and do this certified body code, emotion code, energy healing stuff. And that's where Zalema went to school. And that's where Julie Rowe went to school. And a lot of people. This I found on by looking up Julie Clements. Okay. Am I the only one that looks at this and is just like, cuckoo, cuckoo? I don't know. I don't like the way Julie Clements in the FOIA docs. She did an interview, I think with one of the detectives there. I don't know about any in Idaho. None of us really know that. And she basically was very snide and very, that's my opinion, of how she wasn't going to say this. And she just pick and choose, you know, like she ran the damn interview. Basically, that's how I got it. That's the feeling I catch off of it, the vibe, if you will. And she just is arrogant, seems like, you know. just like with Audrey Barrettero. There's something about that I just don't trust. Okay, and so this I'd gotten off that channel I'd shared with y'all. L. Alvarez D, who I feel is Mike Stroud. He shared a bunch. Y'all can go check that out. There's a whole freaking playlist, but he uploaded them as his own videos, which is like what I was doing in the very beginning of this, because I didn't know how this worked. I don't know about links and all that stuff. So I screen record all kinds of stuff. And so this is joyuntapped.com, and that is off of Julie Clement, her bio page or whatever I had found on the internet. And, Jason Mel, 2017, over there at the Book of Mormon Evidence, aka the Firm Foundation. Their big old audience, their big platform, that they have not strayed from. I became acquainted with Brother Stroud's ideology earlier this summer when his podcasts were recommended to my ward's gospel doctrine class. He seems like a nice, sincere guy. The way he talks reminds me of one of my favorite Sunday school teachers, a blue-collar, no-nonsense, authoritative figure. But, there's always a but. Brother Stroud is Denver Snuffer and Robert Norman all rolled up into one, and he doesn't seem to grasp the consequences. Okay, so, okay, let me just finish. Do you know how many, and this is Stroud, okay? And this is him in the podcast 56 in the Layton, Utah conference at the 21:45 mark. Do you know how many times I've heard, do the brethren know what you're doing here? Have you gotten any pushback from the church? Does your stake president know what you're doing? How about your bishop? And to all those questions, I say, I have no idea. I don't know. Okay. Another question I get all the time. Come on, computer. Brother Stroud, are you one of those apostates? Why? Because I teach the doctrine of Christ from the Book of Mormon, also in that conference. Okay, same little slide, my bad. Okay, I've previously written about the Denver Snuffer. Written about both Denver Snuffer and Robert Norman. Both were cited on the enemies list slide, part of a leaked PowerPoint presentation created for the Quorum of the 12 Apostles in December of 2015. This slide, titled Issues and Ideas Leading People Away from the Gospel, has issues of concern depicted on a spectrum of colored bubbles. Both Denver Snuffer and Robert Norman have small green bubbles on the right side of the slide, indicating more conservative / fundamentalist ideological deviations from orthodoxy. Brother Stroud has all the institutional credibility of Robert Norman, who is also a CES. He was also a CES teacher. According to a brief biography he shared with the Prepper Forum, Stroud worked in the CES church educational system for 27 years as a seminary teacher. He retired in 2006 and thereafter served 3 missions: Mongolia, Philippines, and New Jersey. One inspirational experience from his CES mission in Mongolia is the By Study and By Faith CES manual. In that account, a local CES employee credited Stroud's tutoring and Book of Mormon study as an incredible spiritual experience, motivating him to continue with his employment. And y'all also know that was Brother Mike Stroud was also highly influential on Jason Mao, who is now a CES instructor. Stroud taught Mike Stroud, Brother Stroud taught seminary, and Jason Mao was his student. Okay. Brother Stroud often taught institute classes on his missions, which were apparently quite popular. It was request to post his 2012 Book of Mormon Institute classes, which were taught in the Philippines and transmitted via Skype. That brought Brother Stroud to the podcasting scene in 2016. Okay, so bam, there you go. that we know for sure Lori Vallow Daybell has listened to Mike Stroud. That's what Zach Cox has said. I forget where else, but for sure. And you can just hear it. You can hear in his speeches. You're like, oh. And then when you read the transcripts of the speeches, I picked up a pattern all of its own. I'm like, holy crap. There's something more sinister going on here. In my opinion, I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. Just, it's the pattern, because he doesn't talk like that all the time. Neither does Michael B. Rush. Remember a while back we had done a live stream and went over some Michael B. Rush, how I just kind of noticed he was doing throwing symbols like when he would talk. Because the talk, it just doesn't match up for me. It doesn't match with what I saw in the comments. It doesn't match with I just wasn't getting it. And I was like, what the hell? What am I missing here? And it's a code. It's a way for them to communicate right there in plain sight. And I don't know what the hell they're saying. The common person is just like, okay, they're talking about some Jesus up in here. But really, they're saying so much, And so that to me is hiding in plain sight. And it bothers me. It bothers me. I heard Rob Wood tell Summer Shiflett Mormon speak. That's what he told her. He's like, I know I'm kind of talking to you in Mormon speak. So, it's a thing. I don't have to prove that. It's already been proven or, brought out. So now I'm just trying to understand why. What are they saying? What's their end game? And where are they going with this? And are they going to be any more Lori and Chad's pumped out of this, because that's scary. Okay. Oh, I already did that one. For decades, a super prepper, okay, Brother Stroud was mentioned in a 2002 Church News article as the stake preparedness director, when almost 2/3 of his stake secured a year's supply of food. That's quite a significant there. Since December 28th, 10 semi-trucks have come to Eager, Arizona, and distributed wheat, beans, olive oil, and salt to members and non-members alike, said Mike Stroud. There are now close to 500,000 pounds of wheat alone in our community that wasn't there last December. But since Brother Stroud's retirement, his religious views have been transformed by the teachings of Denver Snuffer. See, I don't know that. I just think that's her opinion. I don't know who has swayed him. This, there's anything can factor into that because, for 27 years, he's a CES teacher, seminary teacher, well, so he retires in 2006 and then what? Some dude, Denver, influences him all of a sudden. No, I don't believe that. I believe that just over time, maybe things that have happened in his life, it's like you want to know where did they go astray, if you will, or, kind of leave the basic normal experience of a Latter-day Saint, and then go to this side of it, because it's scary. Okay, and so a decade ago, Brother Stroud read, there you go. Brother Stroud read Snuffer's first book, The Second Comforter, Conversing with the Lord Through the Veil. Wow. I didn't see this earlier or ever. I never comprehended it, or I don't know. Sometimes reading these things out loud makes a big difference. So, okay, so that's interesting. Now it makes me want to go read the damn book, A Second Comforter, because it's exactly what Lori read. And look where she's at, And so you've got this CES seminary teacher of 27 years, retired, who served 3 missions, for the church, loves the Book of Mormon. And his talks changed. His people have said it in a lot of areas I've gone to look, they're like, well, but it changed. And so that's the same thing we say about Lori. Is it changed? She changed, because there's some people who are like, well, she was always a crappy mom. Well, maybe so, but I didn't know that. We didn't know that because people are different behind closed doors. I don't care, that's normal. That's life. We're all different behind closed doors. But that's interesting to me. Just reading that out loud. And it was a life-changing event. No kidding. For Brother Stroud, for Lori Vallow, and for me. For sure. And for Tylee, JJ, Tammy, Charles, and Joe. For sure. It was a life-altering. Life-ending. So there you go. And that began, so this is Stroud again. And that began my quest for all these things. That doctrine opened up other doctrines, things that led up to, there are certain things that have to take place prior to you obtaining this great blessing. And I learned about those. And one door after it opened, and it seemed like as soon as that door was open, that the Lord sent information to Margie, his wife, and I thought we'd never received before. Okay. I didn't probably read that right. It just seemed to flow to us. And one thing came after another thing and after another thing. And we started to experience things. We started to have great experiences, spiritual experiences, great pearls that came our way. And it all started because some guy that lives in Sandy, Utah, wrote a book and in it testified that he had seen Christ. And that's on Stroud's podcast 14, Unbelief, Revisited Priesthood, Introduction, about 4936 in the minute marker. Like Snuffer, Brother Stroud believes that the Book of Mormon is the handbook. Now, I've seen that in other places also of non-believers, believers. So there's, I don't know. It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's like, there's something more. Is the handbook to receive the second comforter, a personal visitation from Jesus Christ. Podcast 56. The church is under condemnation because we've all, and it's in quotation, so always look at that, all but removed this doctrine from our doctrinal discourse in the church. Podcast 47. Luckily, people are being inspired to learn about these mysteries. I mean, are we lucky? That Lori and Chad are people being inspired to learn about these mysteries. Okay. Those who've obviously been foreordained to receive this blessing. Oh my God, slap you in the face. Other influences. Like many of those who follow Denver Snuffer's teachings, Brother Stroud is also a fan of John Pontius. Visions of Glory. He's the ghostwriter. He was the ghostwriter. He's passed away in 2012. But there was a blog set up and it's called Unblog My Soul. And his wife, Terry, had went and put that up. And he never wanted to, John Pontius I'm talking about. John Pontius never wanted to really, he never wanted to be a blogger, I guess you could say. But he wanted to share his experiences. A lot of these people want to share their experiences. And I think that there's good intent. I really do. But something goes wrong. Something somewhere goes wrong. And yeah, it's like these events do have to they're set into motion and they have to take place for things to happen. But that doesn't mean it's always going to be a good thing. Not for everybody, especially Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe. I'm sure they are like, don't forget about me. Anyways, but yeah, on Unblog My Soul, you can go there. He was a ghostwriter for this Spencer dude, okay, whom everybody pretty much knows, but he's not very forthcoming with it, is Thomas G. Harrison, okay? Thomas G. Harrison, allegedly, I've read hearsay and stuff like that, where he actually knows a lot of, or a couple general authorities, or maybe just one. I don't remember right off the top of my head. And so I guess it's frowned upon and he holds a calling in the church also. So I guess it's just maybe a little more frowned upon for people to be associated with the woo-woo of the visions and the dreams and the near-death experiences and that kind of talk. Doesn't mean it doesn't go on. It just, it's a way to distance yourself. And so I have that talk also on my channel, Visions of Glory, and somebody uploaded it, a creator named JJ Brown, just a couple of months ago. And I've only gotten 3,500 views in, let's say, I forget exactly, but it's been up for about a year and a half maybe on my channel. Same talk he's got on his channel, and he's also showing a lot of this JJ Brown dude, creator on YouTube. He's also sharing a lot of Book of Mormon evidence and Wayne May, those people, the Heartland theory, the Heartland model. He's showing a lot of that, like firsthand, like he's there while they're doing the digging and the stuff. I don't know. It's just so freaking huge. This is so much. It's so freaking much. And it's just big, and I just don't want it to go unnoticed, we got to keep it alive because there's more to the story. Plus they hold a lot of answers for me and all of us, really they know more, maybe not personally, but even indirectly. It's the circles, you run in the same circle. My best friend Terry, she's married the guy that, we all ran in the same circle of town, but we never really met him, That's kind of, I kind of get it. It works like that too, So, like many of those who follow Denver Stuffer's teaching, Brother Stroud is also a fan of author John Pontius. One popular favorite, Visions of Glory, is an account of a detailed end of days vision received by a man called Spencer, aka Tom Harrison. Oh, and I didn't tell you, on that JJ Brown creator on YouTube, his Visions of Glory has gotten like 13,000 views in a couple months. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I have the same talk, but I'm not a member of the church. People, I guess, anyways, it's just interesting because that book definitely plays a freaking high influence in this entire story. Nobody can convince me otherwise. To me, there's a lot of people, they're either for it or they're against it, It's just strange. But anyways, it's an account of a detailed end of days vision received by a man called Spencer. It caused some sensation among the LDS community a few years back. Well, I need to say that it still is. Stroud relies heavily on Spencer's book when discussing imminent future events, especially interactions of those in the 144,000 with translated beings from the city of Enoch, or Enoch, however you want it. Okay. Come on. This thing is slow. It is not unusual for those who listen to his podcast to also follow other end-time visionaries like Julie Rowe and Shelley McDermott. Sister McDermott has appeared in firesides with Brother Stroud and wrote forewords in his books, transcriptions of his podcasts. Okay. Brother Stroud also encourages listeners to take seriously theories regarding the Revelation 12 prophecy being fulfilled next week on what date? September 23rd, as well as other recent celestial manifestations. John Pratt, y'all, he died too during this whole thing, and he wasn't a bad guy either. He was in my mind in the beginning because all these names were flooding in, but he showed up on gospel tangents with Rick Bennett, but Rick Bennett was just like asking him the whole time, basically he was asking John Pratt about Denver. It was kind of funny, but yeah, he died, and I've watched a bunch of his webinars and him teaching about what multiple mortal probations is. I don't know. He looks like a hippie dude, wears a bandana, long hair. But I mean, I actually have photos of him and stuff, like baptizing people in water in a river, So anyways, I just think that's kind of funny when I see that now. And I just feel for, him, because I felt one way about him, and, he really, I just didn't know him. I still don't know him. Never met him. But anyways, I guess I feel a little guilty. But John Pratt gave a presentation of these signs of the times at the recent Remnant General Conference in Boise. Mm-hmm. Brother Stroud's views are determined heavily by personal revelation and speculation. He is not, however, afraid to modify his views. That's scary. That to me is scary as hell. He's not afraid to modify his views based on the experiences of others. He doesn't claim to have received the second comforter. Now, that was at that point. Since then, he has, allegedly. So he depends heavily on accounts told to him by other Latter-day Saints. He's like a sponge. When one listener expressed concern about Brother Stroud's reliance on Denver Snuffer's teachings, he explained, I have read all of Denver's material. I have learned much from, this is Brother Stroud, much from what he has said. Denver has set this course on a path that he is pursuing. Time will tell whether it leads or where it leads. I gather, I bet he does, information from whatever source I can, and then seek to discern through the Holy Spirit if it is true or error. And that's a comment on the comment on the podcast 14, Unbelief Revisited, Priesthood Introduction. That's Mike Stroud's podcast. Unlike Snuffer, Brother Stroud does not believe the current church is in a state of apostasy. He encourages members to remain in the church with the understanding that the institution is a preparatory organization. A lot of people like that, I've noticed. That's something I can say from a never Mormon perspective, is that a lot of people who are excommunicated, they still follow it. It's not because they fell out of the faith. They didn't have a faith crisis. They just broke, like the church and then broke up. It's basically the easiest way I can tell it to anybody who's non-Mormon also. The brethren speak of the lesser portion of the word. And that I think is, that would be the New Testament, I think. The lesser, the greater and the lesser. I forget. Let me shut up. Everything you hear in church, everything you hear in general conference, every manual, every lesson, every talk is the lesser portion of the word. Yeah, I think it's New Testament. If you won't harden your heart and ask, seek, and knock for more, the Lord will begin step by step to present you to the greater portion of the word, which he refers to as the mysteries of God. And that's the Neutralized podcast. I do have that. I can let that one loose as soon as we get out of here. Neutralized, and I have the Remnant. There seems to be 3. They're all crazy. But to me, when I read the transcripts, I'm like, holy crap, I can see where this can go wrong. These casting outs, putting your arm to the square, unclean spirits and physical body versus the spiritual body. And I mean, it's crazy and it's alarming. And so this was just something that I had found earlier. I didn't finish this slide, but I mean, the story isn't finished either, but I'm kind of slow with my technology. So I'll get better at this. But this all just ties back to Doomsday Cult Mom. Lori Vallow believed her missing children had turned into zombies and worms, bombshell court docs. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that I mean, as many times as I want to be in denial about it and just, say that this is more than, more than like religion or the church had nothing to do with it, but the culture did, for sure. I mean, they are the culture. So it's just interesting to me. And to me, this is where the meat and the potatoes, let me try and get that to focus, of the story are. And so, again, it's not me trying to, I'm not on a witch hunt. My thing is just like, for them, like, I mean, I can honestly say they've been some damn witches. Okay. Yeah, the Arizona witches. Let me try it. I'm using a different camera, the one that's not built into my computer, and it's being really weird. But yeah, she basically spit in God's face. If you ask me, motherhood is a privilege, right? It's a blessing, in my opinion. And look what Lori did with that gift, right? I mean, nothing. She's so elite. She doesn't have to repent. So that brings me back to the second anointing thing. It's just like, okay, that's okay maybe for some people, but it's not for all. It's not a one size fits all. Oh, thank you. Good, Tina. I'm glad, because I mean, it's you always come across my mind. You're always on my mind whenever I'm doing this stuff, and it's like I don't ever want to piss Tina off, and I don't want to rub her wrong or seem like I'm insincere, because I am. I'm just trying to make sense of their murders, and the accountable people are the ones who actually took their lives. I mean, that I'm not, there's, but just like in the law enforcement and any other thing that allowed the court system and everything that allowed Lori to continue on this destructive path, starting all the way back. I mean, and my Uncle Charles was part of that. He was an enabler for her with Joe. And I mean, it's so sad. It's so freaking sad, because she just snowballed everybody. She snowballs everybody. I'm not going to say that in past tense. She's not dead. I mean, I think we can all agree that they're the zombies. That's what I see. The projection thing is apparent as hell, because that there's no substance to them. None. Too many people drop the ball, right? Let me read your comment though, Tina. Yes, it's partially, for not getting involved when they knew that was happening. And maybe not specifically that. They couldn't have known. I don't think so. But these things, they do try to get a grip on it. But it's like, to me, this is how it plays out in my mind as being effective. So this is justice to me. Had they come right out in the very beginning and said, "We're sorry for your loss, Tylee, Tammy, Joe, Charles, JJ, they were members of our church, our congregation, and we're sorry for your loss." That to me would have gone a very, very, very long way. But when I saw Lori in court in March, when she came out and she snubbed her nose to the world, basically, flipping the whole entire world off, I was like, that is a very odd behavior. And that's not, to me, and I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but again, I'm not stupid. To me, it just, I was like, that's a learned behavior. That there's what? I mean, I know she's got to be narcissist. Okay. If not, I don't know. I'm not I can't diagnose her. But from my experience, from what I've learned in all this, she's psychopathic-ish. Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, those behaviors are learned somewhere. Home is the first place I think of. Home, because from learning through all this, basically your first cult leaders are your parents. And I mean, I'm even of my own children, like what we say is rule. What my parents said, that was church, that was word. You don't go against them, and then you grow up, and then so things factor in, right? And so like your friends that you played with, your church, your playing sports and things like these clubs, like Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and farmer FHA, all that stuff, Key Club, things like that. They all, oh my goodness, I'm old. And that felt good. There's so many things that influence us in our young little lives, whether we experienced abuse, whether, and that's from my own experience, like, whether or not, how it was handled, things like that. So it's just all these things factor in. And I was just like, no, that, where did that come from? And so the only thing I could think of, when you really take a step back and you really think of all the things that factor in and played a part into the making up of Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell, you get the one thing that is in common between her and Chad is their faith, their church, their culture. That's the one thing that they really have in common. It's the common denominator. And so that's when I was like, okay. And so that's when my venture started with the right. I like that too. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, all the natural disasters, they are right here. Yeah. And I mean, I believe in that. I mean, I do believe in revelations and all that. I just didn't know about them. I didn't know my grandfather wrote a book or a 53-page book about, it's free, on lulu.com, I think. And, oh, it's okay. I can't type either. my thumb, it pops every time. Thanks to this case. But my grandfather, he wrote Countdown to the End of Time, or End Times, something like that. And it's free. It's a PDF. You can get it online. But it's interesting. It fascinates me. I'm interested in learning more about that aspect because like what I want to know, like, okay, so my grandfather, he was a holy roller, whatever you want to call it. A Bible thumper, whatever. He was just all Bible, all Jesus. And I mean, I used to not, when I was a kid, I didn't want to go there because I was like, it's so boring at Papa's. Oh my gosh. He'd listen to like classical music, and I was just like, I was a wild child. So my mom would send me with my saxophone. Okay, I get it now. That just, is she punishing her dad? Because I would go and toot my horn over there. And like, I couldn't watch MTV or nothing like that. Like, I remember NXS was out or something, or no, Faith. You got to have faith, the faith. Michael George, I forget. Always got them mixed up. But he just, no, you just didn't do that. And so me and my step cousin Amanda, we'd go. We were the same age. And so I'd go with them, and there were like 9 Saturdays in a row. I didn't realize these were rituals, okay? I know that now. But you would pray, forget what it was, but basically for people who had passed away. And, I'd always pray, 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 for my Pawpaw Trahan, my other Pawpaw, who died when I was 14. And he had just died then. So he was fresh on my mind. And you pray for people on the other side, allegedly. This was my understanding of it. And for anybody who might be in purgatory, okay, which is limbo, which is spirit prison, I guess. I don't know. I try to see how it fits into other religions now. That's me. I'm kind of venturing out, because like a sealing for a Latter-day Saint, I've even told Jen this, like, okay, so is that the same thing as a blessing? Like when you get your marriage blessed in a Catholic church? And she's like, I don't know anything about Catholic. And she will not talk about it. And I'm just like, I know you don't maybe not know about it, but I'm trying to factor it in, I'm trying to learn. It's just funny. She's been amazing in this. Y'all all are. But so, and like Jehovah's Witness, we have a friend of ours, and his girlfriend, she was in the Jehovah's Witness church, and she's like, she's trying to, I speak Mormonese is what I say, because I've learned it from this process ish. I know more about this religion than I do Catholicism. And right now to this point. And so I don't know. So I just try to figure out, okay, well, a ward is to a Latter-day Saint what a parish is to a Catholic. And then Ronnie would help me and just pipe in and say what, of course, didn't remember it because I'm just now kind of dabbling into that, but just trying to understand what's what to whom, because I want to be respectful. I don't, I want to learn. I want to know how this all factors in, in this religion, what's what. Because it's fascinating to me. And for my grandfather to be so extreme in his beliefs, did it cause my uncle and my, and I might piss off, any of my aunts and uncles if they ever listen to my podcast, by the way. They call it a podcast. So there you go. I'm like, it's not a damn podcast. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just here. And they're welcome to be here anytime, but they don't understand how it works. But anyways, but I mean, like how they grew up, and it helped to form who my Uncle Charles was, right? Just like Barry and Janice and everything that they were involved in. Fact, and also the times, like it was this, for Lori, it was the 70s, the 80s, and so on. For me, I was born in 78, so more of the 80s type influence. I love the 80s. Well, yeah, they say that in Utah. There's but of course I don't know that verbatim. But I mean, it seems, and that's how I was. If I was punished, from when I would get punished, my mom would take away. She would take it away. That's all I'm saying. And like my phone, and that's when they would have to be plugged into the walls or whatever, corded phones. And I would always have a backup in my closet, or 2 or 3, sometimes 5. I'd have a couple phones, and I would just plug it into the wall, like, okay, dang, Mom, don't punish me. And then, boom, I'm plugging another one in. So it's like there's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm sorry, whatever. It's just a saying. There's always, when people, I mean, and that's just from a parent, child perspective. So that's how I kind of look at things, because, if somebody comes down on you and says, you cannot do this, I'm like, Betsy, hold my beer, because I'm going to show them just how much I can and will. I mean, but that's a little bit different, a lot different, really, because that's basically, if somebody tells me I can't do something, then I'm like, here, you know, take my earrings out, watch me. I've just always been like that. So when I would get punished, you know, and got a little older and manipulative and, you know, whatever, there's other ways of doing things. That's kind of how I got here on this planet, you know. My grandfather didn't want my mom and dad to see each other anymore, and my dad respected that. And then, well, there's somebody who didn't, you know, somebody who was more determined. That would be my mom. So I get it. So let's say the congregation or the first presidency or whatever would come down and say, no, you cannot do such and such. Can you imagine the people that would just be like, oh yeah, we'll hold our beers or hold our soda, not soda, caffeine free. Joking. Anyways, I don't know. It just feels like that's kind of how society is. Yeah. When they punish you from doing something or say, you know, you can't have these rights or those rights, we're going to take these away, then we get all, even if we have nothing to do with it, then we all of a sudden care, you know, about people having guns or not having guns or whatever, you know. It's, to me, I don't know. Let me not get into that because it's a whole nother subject. Yeah. It's just, there's more to the story. I've always felt that way. And instead of somebody, I mean, because plenty of people have offered their view or whatever. And I thank them, you know, thank y'all for that. And I appreciate them. They do factor into this, my collective belief or whatever, my collective understanding of everything. And I weigh everything in and I weigh everybody, you know, like Tina, Anthony, Bo Peep, Zero, KJ, everybody, Robbie, Missy, everybody who's here. I'm here for a reason. And everybody has and this is for everybody, every human being. Yeah, different stroke for different folks. Nobody, like KJ says, you are the only you there's ever going to be. And I mean, that's true. There's not ever going to be another you. Nobody has walked in your shoes. Nobody has had to walk your path. Nobody is going to see the world the way that you see it or the way that I see it, or Tom, Dick, and Harry, Mr. Tom. But anyways, you know, I mean, everybody has their own view and their own voice and their own recollection. We're all made up of different things, different influences, different, all kinds of different backgrounds. But it's beautiful. It's like, it's like the colors that make the world go round. You know, like we wouldn't be the world we are without everybody being different and unique and different. It's really fascinating. I just really like that. It's important to me. And yeah, I agree with, I haven't read it all the way, but I just think these people were growing old, trying to make their mark in the world and made things up as they were going along. Yes. All right. We got an adult site attacking us right now. See? You might want to see? Gotta love them. I haven't had that in a hot minute. Okay, I showed it. Oh, so real quick before I get invaded by the Russian websites. So let me hide that. Okay. So I was working on this video, which I was going to do that, just a clip out of that speech I had showed you earlier. What's his name? Andrus dude. Anyways. And so, I mean, it was just going to be like a little 10-minute video or something. And it's just that. And then the Visions of Glory, I found a commercial that I wanted to share also. It's 30 seconds. And I want to say it's the same bookstore that was endorsing Chad, which I also saw in a commercial. And there's pictures of him standing in the bookstore. Oh. Anyways, Robbie. Anyways, and so it's called crap. How come when it's time for me to turn on, I just don't? It's like I go blank. Like me going to my home screen here, and I'm like, what did I come in here for? Basically. Same thing. When you walk into a room and you're like, wait, what the hell did I come in here for? Same thing I get when I look at my home screen, or when I push go live. It's like I go blank totally. Oh, what is that? I always like your comments too, Anthony. And so I'm glad you joined us all the way from where you're at. In Frost's poem, stopping by woods on a snowy evening, has a line. Whose woods these are? I think I know. His house is in the village, though. Well, that's interesting. I find this fascinating. I do. It just is to me. And I guess I'm learning a lot of things about myself. I didn't know I liked this philosophical stuff. And so I'm finding that there's more to me, more substance to me. So that's really cool. Yeah, it'll be short. I wanted, wait, long form. Does that mean, I put you in timeout on accident. Crap. Oh my God, my computer sucks. How do I undo? Oh my God. Hey Anna, how you doing? I put Robbie in timeout on accident. So sorry, Robbie. It's like I click it and then I go to click it again or whatever because my computer is slow. It's bogged down like I am. And I don't know how to take him out of timeout. And I accidentally put Robbie in timeout. I'm sorry, Robbie. What I do like about this day and age is that people feel more free to say what they feel. Yeah, I like that. And see, I clicked it and I'm just waiting on it to show. Okay. And I don't feel like a freak for their sexual preferences or prefer racial equality. Stuff kept in the closet ago. Yes. And that's what I try to share with my kids. I try to encourage them that they can come to me and their dad for anything. For anything. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to, I try to be, I'm real with them. I'm like, it's not always going to make me happy. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not a judge. Like if they hurt somebody, red rummed them, I don't want to say the word, but I'm not going to say that I would not be like, oh yeah, and I'm gonna help you out. But I will love them through it, no matter what. But to not have a place to go and not be able to share feelings aren't bad. I've always been an emotional being. I'm empathetic. I feel people's, if I walk into a room, like a hospital, if I go into a hospital, oh my God, I have anxiety up to the roof. And I can't stay there long unless I'm visiting, unless I'm admitted. And it drains me. It just wipes me out. And when Jason was having his surgery, first thoracotomy, I stayed outside. I was like outside, slept, the surgeon called, and I was like, okay, and I'm just being honest. Like it just would deplete me. So I have to pick my battles, but just being around a lot of people, I mean, it wipes me out. Some people are emotional vampires, you know, and they feed off of other people. And you know, anyways, so I believe in this energy. I believe in the good, and then there's the bad. It can be used both ways, as we see. So if there's this whole, let's say half the world is praying to whom I believe is Jesus and God, and then this other half of the world is praying to the adversary, okay, then it's a thought process. I mean, do they feel the spirit? I'm sure. Proof is in the pudding. Same with people who pray to Jesus and God. Catching the Holy Spirit and things like that is energy. It's energy. And maybe I'm wrong in that, but that's my best way to, I guess, say it right now. Yeah. Yeah, when that party time gets here. Not a second. Tuesday. Yeah. Well, you're a chain smoker now. Oh, well, thanks for your service, though. I mean, I used to want to be a nurse, a recreational nurse is what it was called at the time, but I didn't. All they had at McNeese State University right here in town was geriatrics, and I was like, hell no, I don't want to work with old people. I'm young, you know. This is when I was young, and I always get along with oh, there's no wrong. Oh, okay. I was like, there's no way for me to express them. Uh-oh. But now it's like mom has even said it, you know, with Larry's mom. She wasn't my real blood grandmother, but she was my step grandmother. And one day she was at the office, this is before she passed away, obviously. And her name was Margie. And she was just this cute little Pentecostal lady. Okay. She had her hair in a bun and she was little, but oh my God, Larry, and she raised 3 sons. Okay. And Larry loved his mom. He was, yeah. Anyways, you could just see it. Both, she loved him and he loved her. And, and so he got caught up doing work or whatever, got busy, and she had to go to the eye doctor. And, anyways, so I have 3 stepbrothers also. And they were up at the office and they were all like passing the buck off. Like they were trying to get out of the responsibility of taking grandmother to the eye doctor, taking her to town. And so mom was like, will you take Margie to the eye doctor? And she was like, you know, I'll pay you, put you on the clock, whatever. And I was just like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And so I bring her, and I mean, she, you know, I forget what, Parkinson's maybe. And so her head would do like that. And I just saw Larry on the TV and I was like, oh, what? That's so weird. I'll never get used to it. Anyways, so I bring her to town and I really had never spent one-on-one time with her. I mean, in fact, I was kind of intimidated by her, you know, because I was like, I mean, I would be around her and like, we'd go, but it was a huge family thing, you know, all my stepbrothers and stepsister and all the kids. Jeez, there's a lot of kids and cousins and things like that. And, but I wasn't close to her. I wasn't raised around her, you know. I met Larry when I was 21. And anyways, so I didn't know the lady. Glad you're back. Oh, I did that on accident. Tina, I did. I put him in timeout on accident. But, crap. I need to not look at the chat. And so, okay, so I brought her to the eye doctor. And, you know, she did well. We were just chewing the fat. We were just cutting up and getting to know each other, really, just hanging out. And then from there, we went to Ross Dress for Less or whatever, and Sally's salon, beauty supply, you know, just stuff I do with my grandma. And no, I'm not mean. I'm not mean. But so, and she would have to have like a flashlight with her, you know, and so let's say she'd pick up whatever, a bottle of shampoo, and she would just be like this, you know, with her flashlight, something with her vision. And it's just the way she would do. And so we went to Ross Dress for Less, and she had picked out a couple blouses, and I had picked out a couple for her. And she saw mine, and I was like, well, what about these? And she was like, oh, and she just threw hers down, and she bought I bought the ones for her for that I picked. She wanted them. Okay. And so I was like, oh, she's so sweet. And so we just had a good old time, you know, just hanging out. And I do have a special thing with older people. I do like them. And I don't mean, the whole point to that story was I wanted to be a recreational nurse. That's what they called it at the time, because I wanted to work with children with Down syndrome. And so they didn't have like a focused, you know, I don't know what to call it. I guess a specific program for that. So, you know, you work with whatever they tell you to work with. And that's what turned me away from it, was I didn't want to go into geriatrics or anything like that. I was like, no. Mm-mm. And I'm glad you're back. Yeah. My damn clicker, you know? But anyways, turns out, I mean, I just had a lot of fun with her, and it really made an impression on her as well, because she would always ask about me, and it just was sweet, you know? It's just a good memory that you just, I don't know. People are people. There's a song. People are people. There I go with my 80s stuff again. But I mean, and we all come from different backgrounds, different everything. And all we can do is try and just be the best we can of ourselves, the best us. And I try to just be as, I guess, the word I'm looking for is authentic. Like I am what I am, you know. I don't sit there and try to pretend that so-and-so. I have faked it till I make it. You know, there's a lot of times where I'm like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. You know, what is making it exactly? I don't know. It's a wing and a prayer. That's what I say. But I don't know. We have influence on everybody around us, everybody we cross paths with. And we can either rub them the wrong way or just not have the patience for them. Just chalk them off, you know. But I mean, everybody is just as important as the next. There are times, y'all, when I would go dumpster diving. There's that little tidbit. I have found I don't know how many damn printers. And I'm just threw the last one out, you know. Like I have not had to buy paper. I have not had to buy ink or printers for that fact. And I'd always keep a little change in my pocket because you never know who you're going to cross paths with. And sometimes, you know, there would be less fortunate people, and I would always, not for anything, not for recognition, not for acknowledgement, and I'm just sharing this because I really do cherish these experiences, you know, because I'm looking in the trash because people throw out good things that aren't trash, you know. They can't give them away. They can't, these big stores and stuff like that. But do you know how much stuff can go to these homeless shelters? And like all, when the hurricanes happen, I was like, there's so much lumber here. We ain't got to cut a damn tree down ever. Why don't we just repurpose that wood, you know? And that just doesn't make sense to me. It just, I don't know. But anyways, it was very overwhelming to come back to Lake Charles whenever everything was in the trash. Basically, there was just nothing but lumber, and everybody was throwing things out. I mean, I couldn't. I was like, no, I cannot, because it would either piss me off or frustrate me or whatever, because it just bothers me. And so anyways, but there's always, I've run across people, and I had a $10 bill in my pocket, and I'm just like, here you go. Just no questions. If they go spend it on drugs or alcohol, whatever. That it leaves my responsibility when I hand it out of my pocket and make that choice. I know I did what God would do, what Christ would do. I am treating that person like I would want to be treated. And that's with dignity and respect and just compassion. It really is something that we need to carry on, pass it along. I don't have to, I don't know. That's just the way I am. It makes me want to cry. But I like to think, that I made a difference in that person's day. Just whatever it was. I hope that it's something that they will do also. And so, I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting all in my feelings. But so, yeah, I also teach my kids that they can come to me anytime with anything. And I might get pissed off. I might get whatever, but I will never stop loving them. Ever, ever, ever stop loving them. And it's made a big difference just with me and my bonus son, Leland. I love that, My Wi-Fi is being weird, even though it's plugged straight in, but whatever. I hope so. Y'all make a difference with me too. Like, just you guys being here. I'm not about... Some people are about quantity. I'm about quality. I'm all about quality. I always kept, and I didn't do it on purpose, but I always have a small circle. I just have 2 girlfriends that I grew up with. No, it's not. I did earlier. I have 2 girlfriends that I grew up with. From me and Terry have been best friends for since I was 7, so a lot of years. Missy also. And other than that, I really didn't like hanging around females. I'm like, ew, Lord, no. They're just messy. Or drama. I don't like drama. I don't like being in drama. I don't like people being ugly to other people, or I mean, give it to me. Like, you can take it out on me. I can handle myself, but don't do it to somebody I love, like, I don't know. I got into this really big protective mode when all this happened. And I can't explain it. I went into full on recon AWOL. I'm going, protect mine, my family, my brother, my mom, my dad, my Tylee, JJ, Charles. And I'm protective over Tammy and Joe too. It's crazy how you can really feel for people that you've never even met. I've never met Tammy. I never met Joe. Yet they impact every single day of my life. They impact every decision I make. They're in my thoughts. They're in my prayers. They are in my details, in the details. And because that's really where they're at. That's their story, their stories. They're not here to tell them. And so I will facilitate that in the most humanistic way possible, humanizing, because they were dehumanized. They were, oh yeah. This also the other day, just real quick, real quick. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So whenever all the DNA stuff has, how that story has come up about the DNA evidence found at Chad Daybell's property, and whatever, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And how the test or whatever will consume it. It will eat it up. So I started to think when I listened to Joseph Scott Morgan on East Idaho News and also on Web Sleuths. And I started thinking, and I'd never like thought of it any different. And it may not be anything, but I don't know. I just get all in my head sometimes. And everybody, and myself included, have always said, you know, the way Tylee's body was found and the way Tylee's body was found and JJ's body was found, how they were so different, right? And everybody, you know, will say like JJ's body was to preserve it or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, I don't think. And so this kind of brought this out, and I was just like, okay, anyway, y'all just, it's probably nothing, but I got to get it off my chest or off my mind. And so I was like, okay, do you think that Chad and Lori and Alex or whomever the hell did the actual deeds, whatever factored into making their lives end? I mean, whomever it was, one of these a-holes, you know, were they like, okay, well, let me put a bunch of duct tape around him, you know, so for when they find the body, it'll be preserved. I don't know how to say that, but that's basically what I'm saying. Like, this, I don't know how to say it. I lost touch. All right, another adult chat site. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, the like-minded people thing, that's a code. It's a code phrase. I feel like Jason Mao is in that up to his eyeballs, allegedly. My opinion. Whatever. Don't sue me. I feel like Mike STROUD plays a part in that underground thing. It's something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I will. Watch me. I mean, that's what the hell I'm trying. Okay, I can't even see all his comments because of the damn site. Let's see. Block user. Not Robbie, but dehumanized. Yeah. Yep. But who's not in the truth? Wait, I gotta go back. Y'all talk. Okay, Kathy, I love you. And Mr. Tom, thank you. Oh, yeah. I don't know. There's just something far more dark and far more sinister that's gonna come out of this. Even though I already thought, how could anything be any darker or any more sinister than zombies and murder and kids and innocent victims, you know, that are loved in their community, and it just doesn't make sense. So Lori, Chad, and Alex, and everybody that participated in the damn circles and the damn castings, you know, they did not, nor do they still have the victims, best interest. You know, that's not even on their radar. And you see it in Melanie GIBB, even David Warwick. I don't trust the dude. I kind of did at first, like, but then the more and more I've read about and learned about him, no. Why is he not? Why was he not interviewed by Arizona? You know, I don't know. I guess because he didn't live there. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It's like you can really focus on one thing But then you're like, oh yeah, but what about these other 19 things? You know, there's so much to think about. I think so too. Zero. I mean, I can't help but it's not something I ever wanted to even acknowledge was a part of my world, of this world. I mean, I share this planet with a bazillion other people, and that just I had heard about it, but I never wanted to acknowledge the fact that it does happen, whether they did this to Tyler or not. At the end of the day, when the proof comes out in the court, and I'm able to fill things in and answer so many of my questions, then it'll make sense, or more, the most it ever will. You know, I mean, that's just, I'll never get the full story because they're dead, they were murdered, their voices were taken away, and they don't get to talk. So I remember whenever I even considered SRA or ritual murder, I remember I would just go like on Reddit, and I would just, you know, sign up for the subreddit forum or whatever, the subreddit, and I would just be like, hey, what y'all doing in here? Y'all doing anything bad? You know, who are y'all? And it was like the satanic people. I just had to go and like pull myself out of that. Not their organization, but out of that forum, you know, because I was just like, what y'all doing in here? And then, you know, what y'all doing over here? You know, just everybody. Because I mean, it was just so bizarre. Who's who? What's what? I don't understand. You know, like I was trying to understand. And so, but there are even, okay, let's say that we find out that after the hearing, after the trials and everything, that let's say satanic ritual abuse did not happen. Okay. So, but it does happen. I know that now. I know that it does happen. And so I feel like it's not fair to the victims who it has happened to. I really feel sorry for them, because why? Because society is just too scared to acknowledge that this level of evil does exist. Because that was me. That was me prior to all this. I didn't want to acknowledge the fact that this takes place. Like, I can't wrap my head around it. I'm just like, I don't have to understand it. Like, I just watched Eyes Wide Open the other day for the first time. I always saw, you know, I knew about it and everything, just like Harry Potter. Never watched one Harry Potter anything. That little hello precious thing creeps me the hell out. And I mean, it's kind of not my thing. It's not my, I like rom-coms, you know, stupid, funny, just goofy, whatever. Just those kind of, or I used to. Now I watch and listen to religious stuff, podcasts, and these people talking out their hind ends. Yeah, he was deaf. Tina, wait, where'd he go? Just like that. Did y'all notice how David, come on, comment, when he was on the stand, but he could hear when he was talking? Yeah, he's in tune. I'm telling you, I don't trust any of them. None of them. Not Melanie Gibb especially. She, to me, just is a whole nother level. And she's got a lot of people bamboozled. I'm gonna use my Uncle Charles's word, bamboozled. She's like, you know, I'll tell the truth. And I'm like, ish, you're right there. And they just asked you everything. You're like, I can't recall. I was, you know, traumatized by choice. She chose to be there. Okay. I mean, I could just picture her. I just picture what JJ would say, what Tylee would be saying, what Joe, Tammy, what they would be saying. That just comes in, and they were traumatized. You know, can you imagine? Yeah, I bet JJ wasn't very receptive to neither one of you idiots, because you made them, or when you were around, things disappeared. People they loved disappeared. Their lives were interrupted and disrupted and continuously chaos. It was chaos. Chaos magic, right? It's just the most evil freaking thing imaginable. And it's disturbing, you know? It's just like what she did to those kids. And I say she because she's their damn mom. Whether she did it or not, she facilitated and or orchestrated, and she's accused of it. There you go. For legal purposes, allegedly. She allegedly put them in the path. She put them in danger. I can't imagine. That's the one person. I don't have like the greatest mother-daughter relationship with my mom. However, my mom, I can't imagine. I cannot wrap my mind around that. And like I said, that's the one thing that haunts me. It terrifies me because I think of their last moments, not just the kids. I think of all of them. It replays. Like I can't. I just imagine because your senses are going off, right? I imagine senses go off, and you hear. You're very alert, even though I don't know their state of mind. I don't know if they were drugged or poisoned. I don't know, but it's just something that I don't know. I just imagine it, and it's like as they fade out, and they realize that that's their. I see Lori in every one of them. It's just a betrayal. It's just the ultimate FU betrayal, A2 brute kind of thing, you know, like I cannot. It's just so sad. That is just so sad. Anyways, I know I just brought it way down. But yeah. Wouldn't any one of us? Yeah, Kelly. Right. And that's it. Wouldn't any one of us call DFS on Lori? Right. I know. And I mean, saying that they're zombies, knowing damn good and well that you're actively stepping into this circle, raising your arm to the god dang square, commanding elements. I don't know a whole lot about a whole lot, but I have common sense. It's a superpower, obviously, because it just doesn't. It's not issued to everybody. It's not. And then there's some things that I look like a brand new person, a newborn. I'm like, huh? You know, I have my moments. But he was. Yep, Kelly. He was set up. First thing that comes to my mind is ambush. Set up, ambush. I mean, that's still. It's I feel like he didn't even argue. There was no argument. I feel like he walked in and got freaking ambushed. It's just me, you know. No, I will not. I didn't witness anything except some psychopaths like y'all did. I mean, but no. The only thing that I have that came from that time or whatever was when I asked my mom who my great-grandfather's parents' names were so that I could find out you know, more from my past, but turns out that my Aunt Lori was doing that for me. So I didn't have to. Anyways, that is just so ironic and so weird. That is like one of those, what do you call it? I go blank. Coincidence. That's the only ones I believe in. It can't be coincidence if it's anything with those people. But I asked my mom, you know, about my great grandfather's last name. So because I'd signed up to the website thing. I even bought the DNA kits and all that stuff to, you know, find out a 23andMe. I still have the damn boxes because I was like, not what I know now. I'm good. She done pimped out and tricked out my whole family lineage, my ancestors, and that pisses me off on a whole nother level. I don't know why, but I just feel so violated. And like, did they hex? I believe in the power of thought, you know, and the power of prayer, and it depends on how you're praying there, honey, you know, like it's interesting. I feel like that too, Anthony. I do. I've I see you. Like when I put myself in the, like I say, in their last moments, I see Lori, like as if I'm looking through their eyes or something. That's weird to say, but it's like and it's like he's looking at her and he's just like, oh my God, you know, basically. But that's just me in my imagination. And Alex, I mean, he just spends some of that time cleaning a damn gun, you'd think. And when everybody kept saying a paintball gun, you know, I'm like, it's not. I mean, I knew that just from the little bit knowledge I have about guns. Again, it's not my area of expertise. I have gone hunting. I love hunting. I love scouting more. And so this is another thing, okay? Like Hunter's Code. It's not written anywhere, not that I know of. But when I would go hunting, you don't kill anything unless you intend to eat it, or, you know, you don't just go kill stuff. Even raccoons. And I say this because the guy I was dating at the time who had met Lori and was like, oh, she's a crazy bitch. And I was like, huh? And I didn't even think about that until all this stuff came out. And I was like, oh my God. he did say that, you know. And anyway, so there's that. He saw something that I just didn't see, but he was crazy also. So crazy recognizes crazy. Like-minded people. There you go. No, but you know, there were some raccoons. They're considered nuisance. They're a nuisance, like coyotes, like here and like in where I'm from. If there's a high coyote population, you can get like $12 an ear. Okay, so if you do kill them, the nuisance animals, you know, that are taking over, that wreak havoc and kill like your pets and stuff like that, then the animal control will pay $12 an ear. Okay, I'm just going on this story. At the time, I haven't checked it since. It was a long time ago. So raccoons, coyotes, and things like that, nuisance. Armadillos, I guess, I don't really know. And you definitely don't bury them. That is something. I mean, you leave it there for Mother Earth to take care of, you know, feed other animals. You don't bury it. You don't throw it away. You don't. That's just like a code. Why would you bury something that you killed? That's just one of those things I've always wanted to say, but I always forget. Neutral rats, yeah, where I'm from, them neutral rats. Yeah, just it would be interesting. And I mean, as far as I know, they didn't even find remains of a raccoon. So to me, I look at things like the philosophical way, from symbolism and stuff like that. And because AVOW or whatever is listed under Southern Poverty Law Center, it's considered to be more of an extreme type of organization, I guess you could say. And so a raccoon, now just hear me out. A raccoon represents, again, hear me out. This is just me speculating and just trying to find reason to their insane rhymes. A raccoon could represent a Black person, or not as worthy of a priest. Like, I try to see things from Chad Numm's perspective, right? And when you have all the prepper people, not all preppers are bad, please. This is just speculation. But a raccoon would represent, I'm a coon ass. That's what we say here in Louisiana. I don't get offended by it, and everybody I know that is from here is the same. We're coon asses. That's what you say. A coon ass. And the same with the language, I guess, or whatever, the symbolism in a raccoon. They have the black eyes. They're a nuisance. But they're cute as hell. Like, I don't get it. But I don't know. I just try to find meaning. Oh, black bear? Oh, shit. Like, that's crazy. I've never seen a bear or anything like that, but I was studying and reading up on the terrain and all that whenever Oh, that's interesting, Tina. That's another thing also. The pizza thing just brought that up because Melanie Gibb says that, Lori wasn't a good cooker. Okay. She wasn't a good cooker. I'm like, a good cook? You're not a good liar. She's not. Anyways. Anyways. But I remember her saying about the scissors, or not the scissors, but when Lori was cutting her hair, and Lord knows Lori cut Melanie Gibbs' hair from a pillow to post, because she was like, well, we started in her bathroom, but then we moved here to this other bathroom and yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, okay, what'd y'all do? Stand up and walk around while she cut your hair? That's kind of weird. Just saying. Let me block these things again. Okay. And so that just, to me, the whole story stings. It just doesn't line up. I don't care. I mean, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Y'all know that too. No. And then I remember also that when Melanie Gibb did the interview with East Idaho News, and she said that she didn't have a lawyer, and she did have a lawyer. So there's that. I don't remember where I heard that from. So allegedly, I'll just have to say allegedly. Then the hearsay or whatever, I remember running across a post somewhere, and it was from Nancy James, and it was about Shawn LittleBear. And I'm trying to remember now, but it was on Reddit, I think. And I don't even know if it's all one story for me. Yeah. I mean, there's a McDonald's right here that you go to, and there's the little raccoons. There's a whole, I forget what you call them when they come out by the group or whatever. But I fed them plenty of French fries. They're just cute. I'm not saying, wait, what is it that sprays you? A skunk. Yeah. I had a boss that was from North Carolina, and when he would talk to me, sometimes he sounded like a banjo. I was like, what? What did you say? And he asked me, what ails you? And I was like, what is I? What are you talking about? What is I? That don't even make sense, you know, but he's my boss. And so I was like, really thinking. And he was saying, what ails you? What AILS? And I've just never, nobody in my family, nobody I've ever been around has asked me, what ails you? And then put the North Carolina, you know, accent and what ails you? And I was like, what the hell are you saying? And anyways, so what's wrong with you? What is troubling you, I guess? Just like received. When I heard Melanie Gibb say, oh, she didn't know if Kay was going to, you know, receive him. I was like, what a receiving blanket? That's the only thing I've ever heard that in that context. I was like, what is she saying? Received. And like saying deceived, about Melanie Gibb talking about my Uncle Charles, you know, he deceived me. Yes, I deceived you. I'm like, my Uncle Charles didn't really talk like that. But then again, you know, I'm kind of finding out that he kind of did. Kind of, you know, and like a tender moment with David Warwick saying that JJ was laying on his uncle Alex's shoulder. And I'm just like, and it was a tender moment. That's just another one of those things that I've never, oh my God, tender moment. I don't know. It's a different talk. We say y'all and stuff like that, and so it's different, but adapt and overcome. What ails you? Well, there you go. You're raised in the South. You do have a monster raccoon? I mean, I grew up in a house with my dad would stuff his pintail duck. We had an otter. Okay. It was above my TV when I was growing up. So there's that. He would have them taxidermy, you know. Coonzilla. But I mean, do y'all see where that could possibly play into the representation, the symbolism, the code? Like Tylee would be to Chad, he would call and identify. Did he? And see, Jason thinks so different than I do. He has a whole different theory about how Tylee was murdered and how that played out, and I have a totally different one. And so we just, you know, go back and forth. And I'm like, I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't get that feeling. I go on feeling. Because that's what I've had to go on. Right? Oh, Alex is a piece of shit. They all are. So just a low life. They're all just, I don't know. They just are gross people. And they're happiness thieves, you know, and if they can't be happy with themselves, then they are just going to destroy anyone and everyone around them. I should have. I've been wanting to pull my bonus son, Leland. He just is. Last night he came in the room. He was like, "So what are you going to be teaching us tomorrow? What are we going to be learning about?" And I was like, I didn't know you were that involved, but he really is. He was on KJ's live the other day. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And he got to meet, you know, Leland and Silas got to meet KJ and her husband. It surprises me, I guess, because it's just, he kind of is paying attention, and, you know, this affects their life also. It is the ripple effect, and it dominoes. I don't know if they'll be there. I've wondered that, and I can't imagine if the Cox family will be there. It seems like I feel like Summer would be there. I don't know. She just seems like attention whore ish. Excuse my French, but I don't know. I wonder though. I didn't even think about that until I went to her competency after she became competent, Lori, April 19th in Rexburg. Not until I was on the way to the courthouse and I was like, oh wait, could they be there? You start kind of just, I don't know, everything kind of factors in. It's like a different perspective being there versus being here, wondering, Won't be there yet, have they? MONE, huh? Money? I don't even know what that. Oh, none. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they've been there. But then again, and that's so weird. The way they think is so freaking odd to me, because there is Summer with Rob Wood, and she's saying, he's like, I forget how she says it, but it comes up and she's like, well, I mean, we can't tell her we can't ask her where the kids are because our phone calls are being recorded. And I'm thinking, you can ask her whatever the hell you want. That's just a weird way of thinking to me. To me, that's very weird. No, you ask. If there's nothing to hide, Summer, you ask. That's what a normal dysfunctional biatch would do. Just saying. Somebody who's not thinking, well, I don't want to implicate my sister, so let me just, not ask that question. Makes no sense to me. And so maybe I'm just messed up in my thinking, but I don't think so. Not on that. And there's that pattern of, me, Mel. And then Jana saying, Lori told her, Mom, me. And I'm just like, ew, there's that pattern. And then the zombie thing with Tylee. Tylee became a zombie, and Lori gave Melanie GIBB that look, that crazy look. Like, yeah, they're dead. Or, yeah, she's, dead, murdered, whatever. That's in the phone call, the leaked phone call that I have on my channel also. With Sherry Dowdle, whatever her name is. Then, where else is it? It said somewhere else. If I hear it twice or see it twice, it becomes pattern for me. So, Tylee, that said about how Tylee became a zombie. No. Where is it? Oh, it's in the interview with the Chandler Police Department or Gilbert, whatever police department, with Melanie GIBB, Tylee, and Lori. And it's a crazy look or something. It's the same thing. I mean, I lost it just as fast as I got it. Should give, it's just some verbiage or whatever, and it's like a crazy look. Like Tylee gave Lori a crazy look. I think Lori said that. I don't know. She just gave me this crazy look. Something like that. I don't know. I'll get it together and forget it before I come back on here again. Yeah. It's so sad though, isn't it, Deanna? I feel for them from Tammy's perspective. In their journey. They don't know better. If so, they weren't taught better. And if so, nobody is really, they haven't allowed anybody in, per se, the public who are interested in this case, who could help, show compassion and not be judgmental and help them to see. But yeah, that's it, Kathy Barella. Yeah. Yep. Yep. But yeah, that's a little pattern too. But yeah, I don't know. I just try to really see them as Tammy's kids. I can't imagine what it would be like if I had lost my mom and then my dad was being accused of it. Knowing damn good and well I went to Disneyland and she baked cookies for me and she met my kids and I'm pretty sure she was at my mom's funeral. Just saying, from the Daybell siblings' perspective, I do believe that, I forget where I saw it though, don't sue me, of Lori actually attending I would say the one in Rexburg, maybe. Not in Springville, I wouldn't think. But I heard that somewhere. I just don't remember. Everything's off the fly. And it is in denial. And I'd often think, had none of this happened with my Uncle Charles and the kids being ripped from their lives by Lori, Tammy would have never been exhumed. And I mean, there are charges against Chad Daybell for first-degree murder. That would have never been uncovered. I understand that they would have never had to deal with all this, the thought of your dad possibly murdering your mom. I mean, I ignorance is bliss, but then, oh my God, I'd rather know than not know. Come on. I mean, babysitting your kids, can you imagine? He's a damn grandfather. Lori is a damn grandmother. Baffles me. Just like when I met Colby's little girl. I didn't meet the baby yet, but when I met Riley and I sat and played on the floor with her and she was me, and she looked just like Tylee. And that was just playing through my head. How could Lori do this? How could she forfeit and put everything on the table, like just ante up, just all in to gamble, and it's annihilating your family for money and for freedom and for control? I don't know. That's just it. We don't think like they do, and so we're like, why did she? That rhetorical question that I see all the time, and it's a rhetorical question. You can't answer it. You don't know why. It's just so far-fetched. We cannot wrap our brains around it because that is not normal for anyone to be like that at all. Yeah, I feel you, Robbie. Like it seems like she poked herself in the eyeball to make her have some tears. Emma, but then I'm like, I wonder if she's like on the spectrum also. Just apathy, none. Empathy or anything like that. Not all of them though, I don't know. I pray that whenever they do come down from that kind of thinking, that they have a nice soft place to land where they can cry and they can work through these problems and these issues and really get the support and the help that they need, the guidance, and like I said, the soft place to land where people whom they trust, will be able to really just help them and break that cycle, Oh, you go, Arctic Cat. You were busy. Right. We can't fathom that. you know, because that's what it's all about. It's not about me. I'm old now. I'm 44. It's not about me. It's about my kids and our kids' and so forth. You know, the whole, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. I mean, that video came on the other day when I finally turned music on for the first time in forever on YouTube, you know, and I Want to Know What Love Is. That's one of my favorite songs. I love Foreigner. And anyways, it was autoplay, and I believe the children are our future, whatever that song. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it. Or is it the one? Am I getting them mixed up? We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. That's what all, like Kenny Rogers, my grandma, Bootsy, my real dad's mom. She used to tell me she would wear like a Kenny Rogers t-shirt sometimes to sleep in. And she would tell me that that's my grandfather because she wasn't married. You know, my grandfather, she had been divorced from him for a long time, and he lived in Texas, and, you know, she did not. So she was always single. And she told me that Kenny Rogers, I didn't know. I was little. So like I say, they form your mind. I was I was deceived because Kenny Rogers was not my grandfather. It was just her crush. Chinonite, right? Yep. I just hope they're okay. Just say, making cookies for Chad's kids. Yeah. Yeah. I'll be your mommy. I don't like kids, but here. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh, man. And Tammy was a good mom. And she was a good wife. And none of them deserved this. Joe, I mean, he did not deserve to be alienated as a parent. I mean, she murdered his soul. If not more than that. I can't prove that. But that's my feeling on it. You know, my heart goes out to him because, I mean, that was just building that monster, basically. Lori kept getting away with all these things and empowered, right? That's what I'm scared of with the preparing of people and these other like-minded people, Jason Mel, Rod Meldrum, all of those. There's too many, you know. There's a whole. I can do a whole roll call, but I have to have my hashtag sheet out, you know, so I can read them because it's long. And so you if you get away with so many things and you're never held accountable for them, aren't you feeding it? Aren't you feeding the beast and making it up? Aren't you making this? It's just like my mama always told me that she says, you know, and this is her parenting advice. She's like, you have to bend that branch while the tree is still young. And, you know, anyways, I've always heard that. And then as I've gotten older, I know that to be that, you know, you really want to make that presence, make that influence on your child or anybody, a child. This is what she was saying. While they're young, you know, if you continuously let your child or a child just run amok and you never discipline them, oh my God, then that tree is no longer a branch you can bend, you know. A tree is kind of not easy to bend because it's matured and it's grown up, and so you're no longer able to influence it anymore. You can sit there and stare at it. It's not going to do anything. Fall on your house. You have to bend that branch while it's young, is what she would say. And I mean, she always hit me with these wives' tale, these old sayings or whatever. And I mean, they are really wise. They really are. And my papa would tell me the best thing about a woman is her mystery. And I didn't really know what he meant by that. But I mean, it's just kind of goes around for everybody. Just the best thing about you is not for everybody. You know? Leave a little bit of mystery there so that, because it's like once that's gone, they're done. And we tend to be like, get bored with it, right? So, yeah, right? I'm learning this. I was about to say JJ. That's something, huh? Like I said, Larry earlier. Okay. Yeah. And to try and understand them, probably we do mental gymnastics, right? Anyways. All right, y'all. We've been at this 3 hours and 24 minutes and 58 seconds. So I have really enjoyed chatting with y'all. Like, for sure. Like, it's been my favorite part, really. Yeah, I agree with you, Missy Bancroft. I agree with you. It just, I feel like there's so much there. Because how have there not been charges on that girl? That hooker, like I call her, hooker. Just saying. I don't know. It's just like, how can there's no way that this is how this story is going to play out. Like, this is not the story. That's not how the story ends. You know, they don't win. Evil does not win in this story. I do know that. I feel that. I have felt that. My mom, Larry, they've all felt that too. So it confirms my feelings that, you know, I don't know how it's going to go between here and there, but at the end of the day, I know that evil does not win. And so that gives me a lot of hope. You know, it really does. It reassures me that I don't know. And none of us know the day, the hour, if even the world will come to an end. We have no control over that. We just do have control over how we react to things. Like, it doesn't control us. That's how we respond to things. Like, you know, let's say somebody's gossiping or whatever. I can choose to look the other way and not even play into it, not entertain it. I'm not going to feed it. I'm not going to acknowledge its existence. Because by doing so, you're making a choice either way, right? So you can play into it and just let it just eat you alive with all that crap. Or you can make a choice and not even feed into their crap. Because if you're arguing, let's say you're arguing with somebody and they're not going to, if you just say nothing and ignore it's even happening, then they have nothing to feed on. You know, there's nothing for them to I don't know. I'm just talking a bunch of crap. Yeah, I know. I think my mom told Jason that she was going to call, I think, tomorrow and find out. So I'll let y'all know. I'll let y'all know. Because, I mean, it's kind of like, what do you do? How do you plan? It's hard to plan. You never know. Oh. And I sense that too, Jay Hughes. You know, I sense that. I don't know your daughter, but I sense that in the chats and stuff, you can kind of get a good sense of how people feel and things like that. And I get it, you know, I get it. And I mean, we don't want to accept these things about people that we personally know. I called Lori my aunt. And it's so freaking scary to know that Satan was in my family. She was coddling my nephew. And no, she was faking. She was just deceiving just to feel better about herself, really. So, I mean, I get that. But I mean, I didn't know all that at the time, but I didn't know that she was going to screw up and changed my life a great deal. You know, I didn't know. And we don't know. It's really nuts. And so I understand. And I mean, even I feel empathy for Chad and Lori. I do. I'm human. I don't gotta like them. I don't have to agree, but that's their journey. I'm not a judge. Like I'm very grateful for that. You know, like that's not my job. That is not in my, that's above my pay grade. And that's for God to do. And so I guess that is the beauty of being able to detach. As soon as all that stuff started happening with Lori, I was able to just flip that switch and detach from her. It's like, I don't feel one way or the other, you know, indifferent. She don't even exist anymore. She died, in my opinion. That person died, and there's just nothing but a carcass, a shell. I love you too, Bo Pete. Your typer quit. My voice box needs to quit. But yeah, I mean, I feel for your daughter's journey, and anybody else on either side of this. There are no winners. Nobody wins. Spoiler alert. Nobody wins. I mean, even justice, like I don't know. Justice, that's why justice looks different for everybody. Because is it really for Tylee and Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe? Or is it for us? I mean, or for society, or me personally, or you personally. Is it really? Is it for them? They're not here anymore. So, I don't know. It's so different. We can break off in all kinds of subjects, and I respect everybody's. You know, I really do. And I take them into perspective because it does matter. I mean, I could be totally on that, you know, or on things, and I just want to make sure that I'm about as level as I can be. It's important. So Lori won't walk unless she throws. Wait, I hope she don't walk ever. Lori won't walk unless she throws more than just Chad under the bus. She might not get the DP right. She might end up with life in prison, but that's probably worse punishment. Yeah, right. That's exactly how I feel. I'm like, just take the death thing off the table, okay? Take it off and just make sure that they don't walk again. I'm happy with that. That's me, you know. But again, I respect everybody's decisions. That's not my line of work. So anyways, I'm on smoke. So I love you guys. Thank y'all so much. It's been really good talking to you and chatting with y'all. And we'll go further into these people, you know. We have to. I have to. That's where I'm going. So I would love for y'all to come with me. So I appreciate you. And it was real fun, but it wasn't real fun. I'm joking. Anyways, that was a joke. But I love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Maybe Tuesday. I'm joking. I don't know.